Hello? Hello. Everybody, very happy Saturday to you. You join us tonight for the commemorative flight celebrating 80 years of the D-Day invasion, I suppose. Celebration, probably the wrong word. But here we are, as we assemble in Microsoft Flight Simulator, or any simulator for that matter. We have JoinFS running. And well, tonight, lads, it's all about remembering what happened 80 years ago. You see, it was a night cloaked in secrecy. Allied forces launched the audacious mission that would change the course of history. D-Day. To honour the 80th anniversary, well, we embark on a special flight, piloting the DC-3s and C-47s to recreate the journey of Mission Albany. Our story begins here on the ground at Exeter, Echo Golf Tango Echo, where we're going to take off from just where many of the brave aircrews did back in 1944. From here, we're going to overfly a place called RAF Uppottery. The airport sadly isn't in use to this day, but you'll see it on the map. We'll get to fly over it. And that was one of many of the launch points of the Airborne divisions. As we navigate towards Normandy, following the actual routes taken of the night, we'll immerse ourselves in the strategy of Operation Overlord. We're going to learn about the deception of Operation Fortitude and Bodyguard, which was to mislead the Germans about the invasion's true location, and the crucial weather report made from a small postal office in County Mayo, Ireland, and how that impacted on the entire operation. We'll also learn about the advanced Eureka and Rebecca navigation systems as we delve into the heroic actions of Easy Company of the 101st Airborne Division, who overcame tremendous odds to secure positions and pave the way for the Allied advance. We also remember the relentless efforts for the resupply missions that kept the front lines fortified and ready for battle. Our journey continues with a simulated Paratroop drop over Drop Zone Charlie, complete with custom scenery by our very own Jeppesen 2001. That will be an insight into the intense resistance of the German defenders. The mission isn't just about flying, this is about stepping back in time to experience the courage, strategy and determination that defined D-Day. The flight will finish as we return to Exeter, Echo Golf Tango Echo. I'll show everything here now on Navigraph. I've also uploaded the flight onto SimBrief for the mad few who'd like to fly with Navigraph. And a shout out to 757 Spy. Over to Dave. Dave is also flying a very similar route tonight. Dave is following Operation or Mission Boston. That's following the 82nd Airborne as they ramble across slightly north of our position. So we're going to be live on the Southeast Asian servers here on Microsoft Flight Sim. I have JoinFS up and running as well, so you could be on X-Plane or P3D, or even if the Microsoft servers are, you know, doing their thing, well, we can fly on that as well. So, a couple of housekeeping stuff to kind of set us off. We have a number of custom liveries, and all the details and the links to said liveries are available over on the Two Tone Murphy Discord. Not only that, we do have a brand new freeware scenery exclusive for this event, which was created by our good friend Jeppesen 2001. We also have a weather preset, as close as I possibly could get it to what the conditions were like on the 5th of June 1944. There was considerable low pressures moving north to south, and yet a little gap appeared. And big shout out to Gibbo Ireland for helping me get the gadget to work in the gadget, so you just have to drop the whole shebang into your community folder. Now, when it comes to aircraft, tonight I will be flying in the Duckworks modded, along with Godfriends, the DC-3. The C-47, as awesome as a C-47 is, I just think it's not fully there yet. It sounds, and there's a bit of animation weirdness going on there as well. The LOD is weird, you have ground crew attached to the airplane, and some of the animations are a little bit off. Still a great plane to fly. If you want to fly that, by all means, I'll be in the DC-3, which is pretty much converted like a C-47. Do you know? So flight time tonight, about 2-ish and a bit hours, but nearly 3 hours start to finish. And there's a bit of stuff we need to do as we fly along. There's certain altitudes, there's procedures when it comes to our aircraft lighting and all the jazz. Plus, you got to be careful because the scenery that has been created includes the sound of 88 flak. And it's quite loud, so be mindful of that. If you have loudspeakers on, alert the neighbours. And if you're wearing the headphones, keep, like, you know, as Dougal would, the plate of hobnobs away from somewhere he'll jump and knock them over. It could absolutely happen, do you know? So welcome all in. Hope you're having a great weekend. And we flew this flight last year around April, which was the end of our 1940s series. That's where we started off learning how to fly, just as we would have back in the 1940s. We started off with some smaller aircraft, the Tiger Moth. We transitioned then up to the faster moving fighters like the Spitfire, the Harvard and the P-51. And then we jumped over to the twin-engine aircraft, which include the Boeing 217, the Beech Model 18, and then, of course, the Douglas DC-3, the Skytrain. Absolutely savage. Now, DC-3 or Dakota, they are the same thing, just different names for different areas. The Americans refer to it, of course, as a DC-3. And over this side of the pond, well, they were known as the Dakota. When we talk about the C-47, it was the military version of the DC-3. There was a couple of small changes. You know, they lowered the floor, raised the roof a little bit. But by and large, the aircraft are pretty much identical. And, well, that's what we're going to fly in this evening, you see. So how is everyone? As well? Skytrain, that's the shot, that's the shot. How are you? You're doing all right now, yeah? All right? I'll go through the flight plan and all that jazz here now in a moment. And I just had to play a bit of an intro as we started, just to get everyone in and welcome in. Do you know what I mean? So a very happy Saturday. I'll say hello. I'll give this a shot. Kanzui is here. Good to see you. Tarnish Mossman, welcome in. Dragon617, happy Saturday. Super Ty is in the chat. Viper Strike, good day. Dougal McTavish, the chairman, is in the house. You're very welcome in. Elf, welcome aboard. Now let me see. Chalks, good evening. Lee Dixon, hope you're well, man. Nighthawk is in the house. Good to see you. Divert is here. Toto rambles in. Baldric de Dong, very happy Saturday. Filthy, welcome aboard, man. Onboard Simulations is here. Hemming Bird jumps in the door saying, I learned today that if you throw an ant into water, you can tell it's male or female. If it sinks, girl ant. If it floats, boy ant. Buoyant. Happy Saturday, Hemmingbird. Hope you're well. Wactical Tanker, good to see you. Willow, how much? Welcome in, man. Sean Dale is here. Control Major Tom, welcome in. For anyone who can't do the actual flying tonight, well, we've also created an achievement to unlock for our virtual airline, Firefly Air. So you have the chance any day, fly the route, do the whole shebang, use something like Air Show Assistant. That'll populate a couple of more DC-3s in the air for you. It's very, very cool, that add-on. So you get the chance to do it, right? Captain Sickbag, very good evening to you. 6 Knots is here, subscribing for 38 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Kieran. And thank you very much for creating the achievement for tonight. Retriever Neil rambles in. Spitfire RAF 100. You're very welcome in, my dude. Now let me see. Kozaki Flyer, welcome in. Now we'll be starting in a few minutes. You have some timeage, man. Now, let me see. We're over here, look. Sherlock Pilot, welcome in, man. I'd love to join in tonight, he says, but I can't. He says, we'll watch, though. Have fun, and a big salute to the brave souls who gave their all. Absolutely. Car DTM, you're welcome in. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. AJH John, you're very welcome in, man. B Carlo, good evening. Jim Maumu is here. Echo Charlie, welcome aboard. Admiral Ted, Asher, how are you? It's good to see you, man. Captain Meowingtons is in the house. Unhorsed Goose, welcome in. SK Sun, happy Saturday. Paparazzi rambles in saying, I wish I could join this afternoon, but work has me tied up. Wishing all a fantastic, historic and wonderful flight as I lurk. Peering jealously through the window, no pain intended. That happened over on our Discord earlier on. It started off about something about a window and a glass, and it must have got about 70 responses, as you do. Now let me see. Fierce Wolf is here, looking fierce and wolfy. Welcome in. Big Bone Baggins, great name. Welcome in, man. Now where are we at? Damn it, Jim. He says, Murph, I recently learned I have a disease where I make terrible airport jokes. My doctor says it's a terminal. Jesus. Rambok Mort is in the chat. Good to see you, man. Martel is here. Welcome aboard. Gibbo Ireland. He says, evening all. Isn't really my bag, but I had to stop by and lurk to salute you all, and out of respect to all those brave souls, I raise my glass to them all. Gibbo, great to see you, my guy. Hope you're keeping well, and thank you so much for all the help and support in creating this mission that we are about to undertake this evening. Now, MDA is in the house. Good morning. I've been really looking forward to this stream and hope you're well. MDA 009 has passed 1 million. 1 million. Was it miles or XP? It passed 1 million anyway. Incredible. Congratulations. 1 million. Unbelievable. Stick Figure, hello. I hope you're well. Alf says, Echo Golf Tango Echo is my local airport. I flew in and out of here just this week. Looking to do 1 or 2 trial lessons. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Willow How Much says, my granddad landed on the beaches of Normandy shortly after D-Day. He eventually fought his way to the southern tip of Italy. On one occasion, he was in the trenches and a tank drove over the trench. Luckily, he wasn't too badly injured. To this day, I thank those fallen heroes, and I'm grateful for all the servicemen and women who came home after beating Hitler. War is crap. Agreed. And again, like, we're not celebrating war here. This is a tip of the cap for all of those on both sides. Good, bad, doesn't matter. This is something massive happened, and it's almost out of living memory now, which is, it's a sad thing. But when it comes to the aviation aspect, this operation was massive. Nothing ever came close to this thing prior to this event. Paratrooping, this new type of warfare, well, this was new and unique to the Second World War. And how they managed to do it, between loading up the guys in aircraft or even towing the gliders, this was all a new type of technology. It's fascinating to look back on. But let's see what happens. It'll be grand, right? Now, let me see. Airlock Doc, a very good evening to you. Cyrus T is in the house. Welcome aboard. Car DTM says, my great-grandmother, who was called Colette, is at Papillons. I have a message there about this, Car DTM. Anyway, he says she is from Belgium. Although she didn't directly help with D-Day, she did tend the wounded soldiers by leaving her house in Belgium and went to France without being seen by the Germans. She saved about 100 men from certain death. It would mean a lot to me if you talked about her in your live streams on Saturday, as I look up to her greatly, and although she didn't fight, she did save wounded men who would have surely died. That's incredible. And I want to say a big thanks to the lads who have reached out. They've dropped me messages on Discord. You wouldn't believe it now, lads. I have a load of notes. Myself and Mr. Two-Tone have been typing like devils now over the last few days, preparing for this, right? And I've close to 8,000 words typed on about 26 pages. Everything that we're going to cover tonight. And if those of you are interested, I'll save it to a Word document and I'll share it then, a bit of read, you know. And it's always hard to get the fact sheets checked, because, you know, you can't just rely on Wikipedia or Britannia. You know, you got to do your homework on it. So I'm hoping the accuracy is correct, and if there's anything missing or I've left out something, or indeed it can happen, shouldn't, but it could. If I get something wrong, well, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to go back, research and amend, because that's what it's all about. I mean, look, we didn't live during this time, so just like you, we're going to learn about it. I have to learn about it. And when it comes to the Second World War, there are two things that, you know, kind of perk my interest when it comes to history. Roman history, of course, and that of the Second World War. I've been to Normandy many times. I've been to all the sites. I've spoken to veterans on both sides. It's just something I'm very interested in. And it's of all the experience I have, it's still nothing. Like, you're scratching the surface of all the stories and all the different experiences that happened here. And from the airborne side of things, on the aviation side of things, it's absolutely fascinating. And how great is it, lads, that we can actually, you know, take part in a virtual fly-in of this sort of magnitude. Do you know, isn't it awesome, like, when you think about it? And this is all made possible with modern flight simulators, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and also just the incredible third-party community that we have, be them making sceneries, liveries, the aircraft. It's absolutely incredible, and we're all part of it. So it's brilliant, right? It's brilliant. So we continue on. Real Sim Pilot, good to see you. Ozymandias is here. James 747 James, good to see you. Now, where are we at? We're over here. Dougal says, the lads and lassies who fought and died for us would want us to have fun and enjoy this, I'm sure. Absolutely, absolutely. Cyrus T, you mind that now. Keep it polished, you know. And, right, that's what you do with them. Connection lost already, Dougal. That's never going to be good. Now, let me see. Fraudhammer, may I join? Of course, anyone can join. I will ask if you can, try and keep the aircraft to the same era, if you can. But, lads, this is all about flying together. That's what our experience is all about. So, jump on in. Southeast Asian server, and we should be laughing, right? Now, Eamon, good to see you, man. We're over here. Look, Danny, welcome in. Goblin Zeus, good evening. Kanzui is here again. Good to see you. 98 Vulcan, welcome in. Madude. Sterling says, just had to disable all my liveries. That's never good. Now, let me see. Echo Tango, 40 months, dude. Thank you very, very much indeed. Great to see you. We're catching up here. Mark B, welcome in. I didn't know if I'd get here on time. It's been a long day. You're very welcome in. Colonel Fork, the absolute ledge. Great to see you, man. And Colonel Fork flew this along with Jay Winokur last year, and they gave us a great perspective because they flew slightly different routes. Some flew with the, what were they called? The, what were they called? The lads who went first, Effectively, that's what they did. The name is on the tip of my tongue. We'll read about them now. It was fascinating stuff, though. Razor Cab, good evening. Din O'Reilly is here. Jay Winokur is here. Pathfinders. It was the Pathfinders. See what we did, right? I'm like that. Colin Matter, good to see you. Let me see now. Bent Wing, welcome in. Gaseous Maximus is here. Quasar Core, you're very welcome aboard. Airman is in the house. You won't see me livery, Murph, as I made one specially for this flight.
Hello there.
Nice. Now let me see. Tiger Shark, good to see you. Wombat 49, you're very welcome aboard. Wombat has some of the most incredible flying information skills you'll ever see. And, well, you're very welcome in. Country Flyer is here. Happy Saturday to you. Wayland Tutani, a very guten Abend to you, my friend. I hope you're very, very well. Now let me see. Are we all on the Southeast Asian server? We will be. I decided on the L4 livery from some Airborne unit TV show, says Kozaki. I've gone the very same. This is a new livery. I haven't flown it yet. I usually go with That's All Brother. The trailer was that of That's All Brother, but I saw this one and I said we'll give this a blast. I also want to give a notable mention to my good friend Forder Learn to Fly, because Howard actually reached out to me and says, Murph, listen, we're doing a flight Saturday daytime, and I can see that you're using a livery. I won't use that livery. Very, very kind and generous of Forder Learn to Fly. So if you haven't already, lads, and you like learning the intricate details of your flight sim, be it navigation or how to fly, Forder does a fantastic job, and he has Andrew there helping him out on the stream as well. It's always a lot of fun. So do be sure to follow Forder Learn to Fly. Now, let me see. Engineer Zed, good to see you, man. He says, hello for the first time with this group. Welcome in. We're grand. You know, you'll have a headache, no doubt, at the end of tonight, but we're grand. We're a great bunch of lads. Nitro, welcome in. Now, we're catching up. All right, 1 million XP. Good man yourself. I've not heard from Muse in a while, so please assume he's given a slightly drunken wave and how he is. Yeah, Muse is away tonight, the poor old devil. Now, where are we at? We're over here. Catching up now, Murph. I'm prepped to take Dog Company's 2nd Battalion 506th of the 101st Airborne Division, says Colonel Fork. Nice, man, nice. Hemmingbird says, I won't be flying tonight as the Xbox has been commandeered, but I'm looking forward to seeing you all flying, especially starting over my hometown. Hemmingbird, put on the kettle. We're flying over your neck of the woods. Pyrotech, great to see you, man. And we're nearly there now, lads. Hang on to yourselves, right? Wayne Prefontaine. Party on, Wayne. Great to see you, man. USMC Vet, you're very welcome aboard, my guy. Hope all is well. Sun Jammer, welcome in. And who else now? Tenno, welcome. Spies Group is also on the same server. Eagle Eye, yes indeed. We'll be seeing Dave and elements of the 82nd. We'll be flying along on this massive flight. It's really exciting. And now let me see. We're over here now. Jesus, lads, it's very busy. Flipper Alloy, welcome in. Howard was streaming while I was testing Jeppson scenery earlier. Yes. Speak of the devil, Jeppson 2001 has just rambled in. He is the man, myth and legend. He says, good evening, Murph and all. Just got back from my niece's leaving do and she's headed to Australia. Well, Jeppson, thank you very much indeed for all the stuff. And dude, it's incredible work. How many people are flying along with Dave? I don't know. I asked Dave, keep a track of it. I'll keep a track of how many we have here tonight. And we'll get the grand total then a little bit later on. Also to our friends watching us over on YouTube, you're very welcome in, lads. Happy Saturday to you. Mr. Pakistan is here. Good to see you. Rev Nichols Johnson. Reverend Nichols, you're very good and kind to join us here. Chase Sawyer is here. Nicholas, welcome in. Norbert is in the house. Mal Walsh, hey Mal. Angel15 is here. Anne-Marie Walsh, welcome in, everybody. Mrs. TPHI17, a very happy Saturday to you. And who else do we have? It's very busy. Marchie is here. Kiss My Desk thing is here. Dave Dugdale. Good to see you, Dave. Hope you're keeping very well. And if I missed anyone, lads, just start shouting. The great Hadoken is here. Jan Moorkamp. You're welcome in, Jan. And to everyone else who's joined us here on YouTube and on Twitch, thank you all so very, very much indeed. So we're going to go over here now. Waiting to see the transitions. The production value, lads, out the window. My microphone even creaks. Where would you get it? Right, where would you get it? So come over here now, nice and slow so I don't pop your microphone. And here we are. Would you look at the state of this machine right here? Now, with the scenery that was made available from Jeppson 2001, well, it includes a weather preset. So what I recommend now, guys and gals, if you go into your sim settings, in particular, I want you to do the following. If we go to, let me see, real time, right? Set the thing on real time. And we want to change the year to 2009. The reason being is there was a full moon for 1944. So you need to jump into 2009. Then turn off live weather, select the TTM D-Day weather preset, and that should give us fairly similar conditions. I removed some of the fog. There was a little bit of low-lying fog over the ground. I've removed that because, well, we want to see the scenery, right? But by and large, we should be bang on the money. Temperature, pressure, all the jazz. It's simulating that of a cold front, and then low pressure, and then high pressure following it. That's the idea. So that's my time and date settings and all the jazz, right? So we got 11 people with Dave. Most are in DC-3s. One is in a P-51, and Eagle Eye is in the P-38. Awesome. Great. So let me see. Let's have a look at the map here, and let's just a quick overview before we get up and running here. All right. So we're on the ground at Exeter, Echo Golf, Tango Echo. From here, we're going to take off and fly on a heading of 45 degrees, and that's going to bring us up to an old airfield. It was once called RAF Uppottery, and anyone who's watched Band of Brothers, well, that's where Easy Company of the 506th 2nd Battalion, that's where they took off from. So we're going to be flying over Uppottery. There it is there. We'll overfly Uppottery, waggle the wings as a sign of salute, as we then turn right to a heading of 105 degrees for 18 miles and then continue back on. We do have a massive assembly point, which isn't too far from Southampton. From here, we're going to head out towards the Channel. And as we look at the rest of the flight, there's a couple of things we need to look at, right? We're going to be flying at an initial altitude of 1,500 feet. 1,500 feet. And once we get down to this waypoint here, ending in 4218 Whiskey or West, this one here, this is our waypoint in which we turn off our lights. You can keep your position lights on, but by and large, your aircraft lights, turn them off when we get to here. We're going to descend to 1,000 feet. Continue on this way. Then we turn left on a heading of 120 degrees, and we will start approaching the coast of France. Our final little turn just before we get here is going to be a left turn, very small adjustment of 85 degrees. And at this stage, we're expecting to see all sorts of bejesus. We are not the first chalk. We are representing that of 7 and 8. There's plenty of guys after flying ahead of us, just as they did 80 years ago. Then we fly across France, and from here, just north of Carentan, near the areas of Saint-Mary-Église, or Saint-Mary-Église, and also Saint-Marie-de-Mont, well, our drop zone is going to be roughly here, drop zone Charlie. This is where we will do our paratroop drop. Once we have dropped our troops off, it's a left turn heading 030 degrees, and we fly out over the coast. This area here is Utah Beach. You've got to be careful. We're expecting plenty of resistance. As we circle our way back, we'll once again climb to an altitude of 1,500 feet. And when we get back to this waypoint, ending in 218 West, lights on, and we make the right turn heading home. All right. So just remember, lights on, well, lights off, and then lights back on again. This is the route we're doing. For those of us that have the scenery, hopefully you all have the scenery. Well, the scenery locations, you'll see where they are, and we will be flying over them. Just remember, as I said, it is quite loud, so do take it handy. Now, for those who don't want to follow along this way, if you want to follow along on the likes of, say, SimBrief, well, the full flight is active over on SimBrief as well. I've shared it on our Discord, and you can actually do this flight, if you wish, on VATSIM. I would recommend under VF4 conditions, and you can do the actual route on VATSIM as well. Every single waypoint, it's accurate, and it's been plugged into the gadget. This represents Mission Albany, which was for the 101st Airborne Division. Mission Boston, similar, but they went slightly north of us by about 6 miles north of our position. That was Mission Boston. That's what Dave is doing tonight on the spy flight. All right. So that's the plan of it. Let's see what happens. It'll only be great, or, you know, something else will happen. And, well, fingers crossed, this all goes well. Now, what have I to do? I've loads of stuff here. The first thing, lads, I'm going to get the aircraft set up. We're going to taxi on out of here, and we're going to start our flight. And as I said, I have an absolute ridiculous amount of notes. Just to give you an idea, this is what I'm working off. 7,468 words. And it's our entire flight tonight broken down into everything. And we talk about, there'll be a lot of chatting in this, because, like, well, there's not much scenery. But I'll do my best, right? I'll do my best. And if anyone has questions or if anyone has any issues, do let us know. Also, when it comes to formation flying, don't worry about it. You're going to see folks doing some really, really good flying information and savage accuracy and all the rest. Don't worry about it. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. It's totally fine. This is all about us. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to learn a bit, and it is that of a respectful tip of the cap to those who went before us on this incredible operation. So that's the plan. So here we are in our aircraft, and we're going to start now getting things set up. So we're going to jump on into the cockpit. So welcome to the cockpit. And this livery, it's that used by, it was Troop 67. And this is the one that Winters was in. Anyway, this livery, they've updated the interior, and well, you can see it just looks a little bit more kind of, you know. Hello there. And they've added in some nice maps here as well. It looks very, very good. So it is a DC-3, but it mimics that of the C-47. Very, very nice indeed. So, let me see. Capum, hey Capum, good to see you, man. I know that name. Welcome in. Some say it was actually Mr. Two-Tone who compiled the notes. You're not a million miles off. You're not a million miles off, you know. But yeah, the weather scenery is the weather, sorry, is included with the scenery. All right. So to get ourselves started, we're going to come up here onto the overhead, and we have a battery cart. We're going to deploy that. Come on up here so we can see it. So we're going to deploy that. There's a bit of sound coming in. Now, as we're looking at here, we've got a couple of options. Beacon light can be turned on, position lights can be turned on, and we got some interior lights here. Panel lights, going to bring those up a bit so we can see what's happening. Captain, thank you very much indeed for this subscribe. Very kind of you, man. Cheers, man. Right, let's see what's going to happen, right? Remember, boys, flies spread disease. Sim time is live time. However, when I say real time, we're mimicking that of the current time, but put your year back to 2009. The reason being is you're going to get a full moon. All right? Deadly. Right, now we continue on. With this aircraft, we need to get some pneumatic pressure and hydraulic pressure, so we're going to open the valve, and we're going to start pumping on this little handle over here, whilst keeping an eye on the hydraulic system over there. And the reason being is our cowl flaps need to be opened, yeah? The sounds of the DC-3 versus that of the C-47, immensely different. So I need about 750. That'll do it. Close the valve. We're now going to open up the cowl flaps. And if you look at the wings, you'll see where the engines are. You'll see now that they've opened up beautifully. All right. So what else have we to do? Next is going to be our fuel. Move the armrest out of the way. So our left tank is going to go onto our left main. Our right tank is going onto our right main. Fuel is loaded. We're about 80% on all tanks. Keep an eye on this because the fuel moves fairly quick in this machine. Prop, make sure, fully forward. Mixtures, I'm just going to bring these into auto rich. There's many different ways of starting this, and if you go by the manual of a real world plane, this is slightly out of kilter. This works for me. What else we need to do now? Let me see. Right, so we're going to energize and prime the right engine first. So we're going to put the primer on for a little bit. Prime it up. Marder, this is the... what do we call it? This is the DC-3. So primer coming up. Make sure the ignition switch is already on. Booster pump can be armed. Open the window here so we'll actually hear what's going to happen. And we have a right starter and a right mesh. So we need to energize it and then we start it, right? So we're going to start the energizer. You'll hear the spooling up. Oh, yes. Good spinach. Now let's hope everything works and we get a start. Engage the starter. Usually 12 rotations should do it. All right. Good start on the right. Double checking the RPM. Bring it up to about 1,000. Easy does it. Doors closed. There's 1,000 on the RPM. Go ahead now, activate the right generator. You can see our amp meter coming live. What we do now, we repeat this for the left engine. So fuel booster on. We're going to prime the left engine. Mr. G is here. Good to see you, man. So Nighthawk, yeah. So the engine works off like a turbocharger kind of a thing. You can move those. It's usually to do with altitude. It'll give you a little bit more power. Okay, so left engine is primed. We'll open the window. And we're going to do the same crack again. So we need to energize it and then start it. RPM is increasing. The engine is getting warmer. Hey, One Fly Air is here. Good to see you. So far, so good. And we'll engage the starter. About 12 revolutions should do it. Ooh, she didn't fire. Man, Murphy. Turn on the mags there, Murph. Right, we're alive. Okay, good start on the left engine. Close the window. Now we can hear ourselves think. And RPM is coming up. Go ahead and turn on the left generator. Both amp meters are now working. Booster pumps, leave them on for the moment. Go ahead and get some lights turned on in here. Sidewalls, they're all looking good. Cockpit lighting, we'll leave them off for the moment. Now back over to our cowl flaps. We're going to put these into trail. And we continue on with our checks. Up on the overhead once again. We're going to turn on the ship power. So we have this here over here. So if we zoom in, we can see avionics and Baster. So we're on battery cart, onto the plane. Get rid of the battery cart itself. Avionics coming online. And we can go with some lighting here if we want. Pitot heat can come on. And what else do we have? Alright, so the old Collins units. We can go with these. Squawk. Keep it on 7,000. We're VF4. And that's only to track us with Firefly Air. So all is looking well. So let me see. Quick check. So we're looking good here. Engine's running over. RPM is good.
Hello there.
Everything's looking good. All right, sweet. We're looking good. Barney Gumble, good to see you, man. All right, so we're going to disengage the chocks, hold the brakes, and it's going to be a taxi out here to our left-hand side. That's the plan. So from outside the aircraft. This is beautiful. Oh yes, oh yes. So this is the DC-3. It's been heavily modded with the Duckworks mod and also from Got Friends. So lots of flaps coming into the equation. Bit of power now. We're going to turn on the multiplayer in the sim. Let that load up for a while. I'm going to come down here to join FS and we're going to connect ourselves here. Sim should connect. Network will connect. And we'll just give this a few moments and we'll start seeing some other folks starting to appear. And we can start taxiing. Just make sure your tail wheel is disengaged. That's just located under here. This little green handle, tail wheel. Make sure that's off, otherwise you won't be able to maneuver on the ground, right? Vulcan, welcome in, man. So I suspect this will be a busy flight. So if you can, try and already look at this. Try and give yourselves a bit of space. Allow folks, you know what I mean? Bit of moving, right? And if you make a mistake, lads, don't worry, right? We'll do our best here, but we can't do any more than our best. Do you know what I mean? So don't mind me taxiing on the grass. Back in the day, this would have been grass. So we're just going to taxi down this way here as we get ourselves set up, right? If your aircraft is appearing on my stream and it looks like that, you know, Mooney Typhoon, it's because I don't have your livery. So the liveries that I have all the DC-3 and C-47 ones. They're all posted on Discord. And then if you're in something like a Wildcat, a Hellcat, a Spitfire, a Hurricane, well, I have the default ones for those. All right? The default ones for those. So we'll see what happens here, right? So we're going to get ourselves moved around. And remember, lads, following on the flight path, I'll give you all the headings and whatever else as we're flying along. Also, in order to engage your autopilot, well, we need to make sure that the hydraulics are configured to work on the autopilot, the gyro pilot. All right. There's a unique system in the DC-3 with the hydraulics. The pump wasn't strong enough to power both the gyro and the flaps and the gear, right? So we'll be going through that now in a moment. This is awesome. Look at everyone here, look. So when we want to engage the autopilot, see this blue lever here? Well, when we're ready, we're going to click on it, move it into the front position, and that'll give us power for our gyro pilot. But until then, Keep it in the rear position. Alright? Alright. So, the original Coda, good to see you, man. Looks like a bit of fun. I might jump in a BF-109. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any aircraft you want, if you can keep it to the same era, that'd be awesome. But it's up to yourselves, right? Right, let's see. I think we're looking good. So what I'll do, I'm going to take off. I'll circle around for a moment. We'll pick up a few and then we'll head out over Uppottery. That's the plan, right? So let's see what happens. Mixture is where it needs to be. And then power is going to come in and then we're going to try and take off. Are we ready, sports fans? So we start our flight. Power coming in. Takeoff power set. Speed alive. Easy, Betsy. There's 80 miles an hour. Gently back in the stick. Yepsy daisy. Positive rate of climb. Gear coming up. Look at the state of this. Flaps in. Alright. So the DC-3 or the C-47s, not your normal conventional aircraft. You can't pull these things up easier. Do you know what I mean? Tail wheel lock off. I had it on for takeoff. I have a little switch over here for it. So if you look down, that's the ticket right there. Alright, I'm just going to start a left-hand turn here. I'm just going to circle around the airfield and give you guys a chance to take off. It's going to be a left-hand pattern. Yeah, so your tail wheel lock should be on for takeoff. Otherwise, you'll be dancing all over the place. There is a switch underneath the engine controls. But if you kind of bind it to a key or to a control like I have, it just makes life a little bit easier. A little bit easier. Now, speed is looking good. We're still climbing here. 1,500 feet is all we want, lads. Now, there's a couple of things we can do to get ourselves situated and set up. So, let me see. Bit of trimmage. Get some power into our gyro pilot. And we can activate the gyro pilot from here. Or at least failing that, I'm going to use my good old friend Flow Pro. Just makes life easier. So altitude, we're going to call 1,500 feet. And a heading, we're about 2.7 here. Let's go over to 270. Go ahead and lock that in. And we're looking good. At this stage, we can go ahead and close off the cowl flaps. Temperature will be rising. We're going to bring back our manifold pressure about 40 and our RPM back to about 25. And from here, friends, we're looking good. We should be able to cruise along at about, give or take, about 200 miles an hour initially, and we'll slow it down after a while. So heading coming in, going to be a left turn now. We'll head down to 180, and you can use the Sperry if you want. I have a little gadget over here that controls all that for me. How'd you do that one, Murph? How can I reset that view? Don't panic. Oh, Jesus. Let me see. Yes. Oh, Jesus, I thought I broke it, lads. Right, there's everyone. Brilliant. So I'm just going to circle around the field, get everyone airborne, and then we'll start making our way towards our first waypoint. All right? There isn't any altitude lock or a heading lock. So heading, yes. So what's on the bottom is what your plane is doing. What's on the top is where you want it to face. If you want to do an altitude hold, you would increase it or decrease it here. That's how you do your altitude. It's a very rudimentary kind of a setup. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be a left turn now. We're bringing it over to 090 degrees. Highly recommend Flow. It just makes life so much more easier. So what we'll do to try and get a bit of a count of, well, how many people are with us? Well, if you're on the Xbox, press 1. If you're on the PC, press 2. And if you're here supporting us in the background, you press number 3. And we'll try and get the owl first official count of the night in. Yes. That is how the plane needs to sound, right? We got 47 on the PC, 7 on console. That's awesome, lads. That's a great turnout. All right, so we're going to be crossing back over Exeter Airport. Should be just here on our left. There it is. So from here, lads, we're going to be flying now en route. So to do this, as we pass the airport, it's going to be a right turn over to 045 degrees. That's going to be our first turn for this evening. And well, while we're up here, let's do a bit of housekeeping. I'm going to turn off the landing lights. Position lights can stay on. But once we get out to one of the assembly points, our lights will be coming off. Isn't that something? Look at the state. So first right turn we said is going to be onto a heading of 045 degrees. We'll start that turn now. Aircraft starting to bank. And we're starting to look good. And with the time of day, it'll be nighttime once we get over the channel. Imagine this 80 years ago. Like, crikey, it's just, when you think about it, right? This new type of paratroop, it was brand new, right? Hopping into a plane and, like, just, what you doing? I'm going to jump out of a perfectly working airplane. Yeah, no problem. Sounds great. This is very, very pretty. Okay, now let's have a look. Are we going the right direction? We kind of are. Let's get ourselves onto that magenta line. I'll tighten it up here a little bit. Again, I'm going to be using Navigraph to help us kind of steer along. Altitude 1500 feet. You can see the weather. This is fairly accurate of what the lads had to do. They were paid $50 more a month. A month. And when you think about it, if you know, wages back in the day, right? Monty was paid, Bernard Montgomery was paid £10 a day. A day, right? And he would have been at the highest level. Fulda, good to see you, Fulda. Welcome in, man. So a little bit of wind. So I need to adjust our course ever so slightly as we're going to be flying over Uppottery. And it's going to be up here a little bit further on. Now our speed is looking good. I don't need to be going as fast. I'm just going to bring this back a teeny tiny little bit. The same with our RPM, and about 200 miles an hour indicated should be more than enough. We will be going much slower when it comes to dropping our paratroopers. We're going to slow it right down to about 140, 130 miles an hour. We're going to drop it down to about 800 feet. So Dunkswell is the first airport we're going to be passing here. That's still in operation today. Echo Golf Tango uniform. And then I say, that's it over there. And then after that, look at that though. That's gorgeous looking, isn't it? Doc Nader, thank you very much indeed. Is it real D-Day weather? Based on the weather forecasts I've been kind of studying over the last few days, yeah. So I have a whole load of notes here, lads, as well, right? And as I said, like we've the flying element. Keep an eye on your controls. I'll try and keep an eye on what I'm doing. But I've a lot of stuff to get through here. So let's see how we get on, right? So the D-Day commemorative flight. That's what we're doing tonight. As the shadow of war loomed over Europe, the Allies knew that a decisive strike was needed to liberate the continent from Nazi occupation. This critical moment in history was meticulously planned and executed, leading to the grand invasion known as Operation Overlord. The seeds of Operation Overlord were sown in a series of high-stakes conferences and strategic meetings among the Allied leaders. The Casablanca Conference in January 1943 marked the beginning. Franklin D. Roosevelt and Winston Churchill agreed to prioritise the European theatre of war. The intricate planning of Overlord started to take shape during the Trident Conference in May 1943, and further details were hammered out in subsequent meetings, including the Quebec Conference in August and, of course, the Tehran Conference in November. It was at Tehran that Joseph Stalin, Roosevelt and Churchill solidified their commitment to this audacious plan. While we're here, lads, Uppottery, which is there. Interesting that we have runway lights. It's probably the mod. Let's do a right turn. Look at the visibility. It's like, uh-oh. No jump tonight. So, Uppottery, this is the airport used by Easy Company. You watch Band of Brothers. That's where they actually departed from back in 1944. So, we need to continue en route here. Right turn now. Yeah, all the way over. Let's go 105, even 110 here. And bring that speed back a little bit more. Easy does it, Murph. We're tearing through it. There we go. Isn't it mad with the weather? Look. Mad. We have a whole load of people flying here, lads. This is brilliant. Brilliant. Great to see so many people flying. She's going to need a little bit more than that, I'd say. 120. Give us a bit of a turn there and let's see what happens. So, the strategic context was clear. Successful invasion of Western Europe was imperative to open the second front against Nazi Germany. The Soviet Union, bearing the brunt on the Eastern Front, was pressing for the second front to alleviate the immense pressure of their forces. By late 1943, the Allies had made significant gains in North Africa and Italy, but a formidable Atlantic wall stood between them and the liberation of France. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, appointed Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, he was tasked with coordinating this monumental effort. Key military leaders, including General Bernard Montgomery, Admiral Sir Bertram Ramsay, and Air Chief Marshal Sir Trafford Leigh Mallory, played vital roles in crafting the plan. The chosen landing site of Normandy was kept a closely guarded secret, with deceptive operations like Fortitude and Bodyguard designed to mislead and misled the Germans about the true invasion point. To gather intelligence on suitable beaches, the BBC ran a competition for French beach holiday photographs, secretly collecting millions of images to help identify Normandy as the ideal target. The Atlantic Wall, Hitler's series of impenetrable defences stretching 1,670 miles. They went from Norway all the way down to Spain. It was another formidable obstacle that the Allies had to overcome. Much of this wall was still intact, or much of the wall is still intact today, with concrete turret defences and anti-landing obstacles scattered along the coast. The planning process was immense, involving the construction of artificial harbours, laying undersea pipelines, the training of thousands of troops in amphibious assaults. The stakes were incredibly high, and the timing had to be perfect. Consideration for tides, the phase of the moon, and weather conditions. Despite these challenges, the Allies were resolute. As the spring of 1944 approached, they prepared to launch the largest amphibious assault in history. Crazy. So with the plans of Operation Overlord now crafted, well, the next crucial step was ensuring that the Germans remained unaware of the true landing site. Thus began one of the most elaborate deception operations in military history, Operation Fortitude, part of the broader strategy known as Operation Bodyguard. Isn't that bananas? Right? Tally ho. Eagle Eye says, you got us in sight from 757? Nice. Mr. Skoo, it's good to see you, man. I had to leave, but salute all of you in memory of these who risked and sacrificed everything. Elf, you take care of my dude. Invasion success was not guaranteed. Not at all, Doc. Not at all. So much bravery. It was nuts. It was nuts. So we are doing very well. Look at all this. This is great to see, lads. Absolutely stunning to see so many of these aircraft flying with us. There's the weirdness with the C-47. Ugh. So looking at Navigraph, I'm slightly off course. We'll fix it, but we're over here now. So we're going to be this little triangle. I'm only throwing that in there so we can overfly Uppottery. But we're going to come down onto this magenta line and then we'll start heading on to our assembly point. And then it's out over the channel at the very, very start of this flight. So even if you join in late, that's quite okay. Just hop in.
Hello there.
King Ari, rather. Hello there. Good to see you, man. Right, let's have a look now at temps, pressures, and all the devil. The lighting inside the aircraft is just about fine. Our heading is good. Make sure that's what's wrong. So my heading indicator is slightly off. That's why I was slightly off, man Murphy. So that explains why I'm off course. So continue on this heading, 120 degrees, and then it's going to be a left turn. All should be well in the realm. What a great machine this is. It's my favourite aircraft. Oh, it's just stunning. Look at that. That sun setting behind us. Look at the clouds. Jesus. Don't forget your landing lights, passing lights. Main lights will be coming off. We can keep our position lights on and see how you go with that. So we continue on. Operation Fortitude. This is fascinating. And like, this is real, right? Operation Fortitude and Operation Bodyguard, well, they are related, but they're not the same operation. Operation Bodyguard was the overall Allied deception strategy for the invasion of Northwest Europe. Its aim was to mislead the German High Command about the time and place of the invasion of France. Operation Fortitude was part of Operation Bodyguard. Fortitude itself was divided into sub-operations. Fortitude North was designed to deceive the Germans into believing that the invasion would occur in Norway, and Fortitude South designed to convince the Germans the main invasion would occur at the Pas de Calais rather than Normandy. As the first waves of Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of Normandy under Operation Neptune, the success of D-Day was also owed to a masterful campaign of deception known as Operation Bodyguard. Within Bodyguard, Operation Fortitude played a crucial role in misleading German forces about the invasion site. Operation Fortitude, designed and split into two parts, designed to mislead them into expecting the main invasion at the Pas de Calais, which was the narrowest point between England and France. It was the most obvious, at least to those. At the heart of Fortitude South was the creation of a fictitious army group. It was known as the First United States Army Group. The Germans considered General George Patton as the Allies' most capable general. And, well, at the time, Patton kind of got himself into savage trouble. Patton rambled out where there was a soldier, change heading now, lads, 76 degrees. There was a soldier who had experienced shell shock. And it was reported that Patton said, there's no such thing as shell shock, and he punched him. And then he said shell shock was a creation of the Jews. He got himself in savage trouble, and there were calls to get him back to America in disgrace. However, Eisenhower had a plan. He says, I know exactly what to do with this fella. So he made Patton the officer commanding the First United States Army Group, this pretend group, which is kind of fascinating because they didn't use real troops. They didn't use real tanks. They pretty much used the modern day bouncy castles. And the idea would be, when the Luftwaffe flew over to take photographs, they would see all these tanks and equipment massing huge numbers down towards Folkestone, near Dover. So that was playing on the Germans' mind. Hey, these guys are like, they're going to come in to the Pas de Calais. I mean, that's where they're assembling all the troops. They have Patton there. I mean, if anyone's going to lead the assault, it's going to be Patton. And this was all part of Operation Fortitude. Mad, right? Let me see now. Shoot the Bandit, good to see you, man. You're welcome in. Now, the success of this deception relied heavily on double agents as well. The misinformation, one of the most effective double agents was Juan Pujol Garcia. His code name was Garbo. Garbo carefully crafted false reports to the Germans that reinforced the narrative that the Pas de Calais was indeed the primary target, leading them to allocate significant resources away from Normandy. Colonel David Strangeways, and he was chief of the Air Force, orchestrated much of the planning and execution of Fortitude. His innovative strategies ensured that the Germans remained convinced of the false invasion plans. Brigadier Dudley Clark, a pioneer in military deception, also played a crucial role in shaping the strategies used in Fortitude. The impact was profound. German forces under the command, of course, of Adolf Hitler and Field Marshal Erwin Rommel remained spread thin across multiple potential invasion sites. Even after the initial landings in Normandy, the Germans continued to hold back significant reserves in the Pas de Calais, expecting a second, larger invasion. The deception provided the Allies with a critical advantage. The German forces misleaded. The beachheads in Normandy faced less resistance, for allowing the Allies to establish and expand their foothold more effectively. The success of Operation Fortitude showed the power and strategy of deception, which of course never really was done before. So the whole idea was, the Germans knew an attack was coming. Hitler knew this. He knew there was going to be an attack, right? And, you know, Rommel knew there was going to be an attack. In actual fact, it was Hitler who put Rommel in there to get all the defences up and running, which was grand. However, they didn't know exactly where, and they didn't know exactly when. They'd have an idea. The misinformation, these double agents, the British were incredible at turning German spies to become double agents. They just managed to turn them away and turn them to say, right, give some misinformation. Now, with giving misinformation, you had to give them real information also. You wouldn't be much of a spy if everything you say, when it goes back, it never turns out to be true. So they actually had to give them some real information. There was a story leading up to D-Day, a couple of weeks before D-Day, there was a prisoner exchange between the UK and Germany. And there was a German general based in a prison in, you know, the south east of England. And they had to make him believe where he was indeed the starting point where all the troops were massing to start the invasion. What they did, they actually drove him down towards Southampton, where the real force was actually forming up. Now think of the consequences here. Think of the risk. They drove him, the driver they had, the corporal, he was a plant. He had to say, yes, very good. Here's the sign for Dover over there, sir. They actually changed all the road signs. So the German general sitting in the back looking around the place, sure, he was never there before. He's looking at these road signs. They actually showed him the real invasion force, but they made him believe it was happening out of Dover. When the German general got back to Germany and met up with his good friend Erwin Rommel, he was saying, listen, they've massed a huge force at Dover. It's definitely going to be the Pas de Calais. I mean, that's nuts what they did. Think of the risk. Think of the risk. It was calculated risk, you know. Anyway, where are we? We're over here. I hope I'm not boring you now with this. Right? Another thing the Allies did, and this was class, right? All this misinformation. We all seen the movie Dam Busters, right? 617 Squadron, yeah. The Allies came up with a new technology because radar was brand new. Radar was, you know, the cat's whiskers when it came to technology of the day.
Hello there.
And to put things into perspective, the Germans invested as much in terms of GDP and money and resources. They invested more into radar than what the Americans did into the Manhattan Project. That'll just tell you where radar was at. Anyway, the Brits came up with this fantastic idea. They came up with a concept called window. Metal strips, codenamed window. We would know them today as modern day chaff. They were used by the Allies during the D-Day invasion to confuse the German radar. The strips created false radar echoes, making it difficult for the Germans to discern the actual location of Allied ships. Window was widely used by RAF Bomber Command and of course other Allied air forces. They also used dummy parachutists, often referred to as Rupert dolls. Well, they were dropped all over the Pas de Calais and other areas to simulate airborne landings to draw German forces away from the actual landing zones. The dummies were equipped with firecrackers and other noise-making devices to mimic the sound of a real airborne assault. By the time the Germans saw the parachute landing and they ran over to see what the crack was, it was a doll, about yay size. About like 2 feet, a doll. 617 Squadron, famously known as the Dam Busters, were involved in Operation Taxable and Operation Glimmer, which was part of the overall deception. These operations aimed to create radar and visual distractions, including dropping window to simulate the invasion fleets heading toward the Pas de Calais. The reason why 6-1 Squadron were used, here we go lads, Murphy's going to get out the paintbrush. The reason why 6-1 Squadron were used, these lads were so accurate and meticulous when it came to flying. They already completed their missions blowing up the dams. When they were flying, so here's say the coast of England, here's say the coast of France, here's the actual landing spot is down here. So you have all the real lads heading this direction, right? Disappear me for a minute. You've all the actual airborne is heading this direction. That's what we're doing. You had 617 Squadron flying this direction. And what they did, because the lads and the pilots were so accurate, they were able to fly, turn around 180 degrees and pick up exactly where they left off. And each time they did one of these maneuvers, they dropped chaff or window. Meaning, on the German radar, which was looking out this direction, all they could see was massive amounts of activity heading that direction. It scared the bejesus out of them. And meanwhile, they hadn't a clue what was happening over here. Elements of Bomber Command flew these missions. It was absolutely genius what they did. And again, it comes back to the accuracy of what these pilots could do. Right, lads, new heading. All the way over, 202 degrees, right turn. This is our assembly point. Indicated airspeed, 180 miles an hour. Altitude, 1,000 feet. And it's going to be a turn to heading. We'll go a little bit further. We'll go 220 degrees. Get ourselves on the magenta line. How are we all doing so far? We all right? Good. Okay. Battle Bro, did you like that? Bob Ross, lads. Bob Ross, right? Where are you planning to turn? Yeah, just here, Colonel Fork. Before I forgot to turn. It's all right, lads. Just as well, I wasn't in charge. But anyway, as the intricate web of deception spun by Operation Fortitude misled the Germans, another critical factor of the success of D-Day was the weather. The invasion depended on precise conditions to ensure the safety and effectiveness of the landing forces. At the heart of this vital aspect was an Irish meteorologist whose timely weather reports played a pivotal role in the decision-making process. Ireland at the time, strictly neutral, but we did provide daily, hourly, by the minute weather reports to the Allies. In the days leading up to the planned invasion, the weather over the English Channel was a little bit unpredictable. The initial date for the invasion was June the 5th. It was postponed due to poor weather conditions. The stakes were so high, any further delays could jeopardise the entire operation. Maureen Flavin Sweeney, a young meteorologist stationed at the remote Blacksod Lighthouse in County Mayo, Ireland, made observations that would prove crucial. Her weather report on June the 3rd indicated a brief improvement in the otherwise unfavourable conditions. These observations were relayed to the Allied command through a network of meteorologists, which made a critical meeting with the group captain James Stagg, the chief meteorologist for the Allied Expeditionary Force. Now, back to me paint book. This is brilliant. Bob Ross will be so proud. Just to give you an idea here, lads, right? Now, I won't bore you too much. Let's say here's Ireland and here's England and, you know, Europe. And then you have the Atlantic Ocean. A huge advantage. We had weather stations or weather buoys all along the Atlantic Ocean. And the Germans used to have a few up around Greenland and Iceland and stuff, but they were knocked out of it by the Americans. So the Germans didn't actually have any sort of presence when it came to weather recording in the Atlantic Ocean. The Irish did. And, you know, Maureen, on the very western tip of Ireland, the day before her 21st birthday, was getting the information from these weather stations out at sea, right? And that's how the whole thing came to pass. This is fascinating stuff. Group Captain Stagg, well, he faced immense pressure. He analysed the weather data coming in from multiple sources, including Sweeney's report, to provide General Dwight D. Eisenhower with a comprehensive forecast. Stagg's recommendation, based on the predicted brief window of improved weather, was to proceed with the invasion on June the 6th. Their initial date, the weather that Maureen was able to give them, did show that there was nice, lovely, clear weather. However, there was a serious drop of pressure. Low pressure and high pressure. Now, in flight sims and real-world aviation, right, the weather is so important to us. Low pressure or falling pressure, that indicates unstable weather. Wind, rain, clouds. High pressure or rising pressure usually indicates calm conditions, sunshine, all that sort of jazz, right? The weather systems out in the Atlantic were picking up a massive drop of pressure, and it was moving in fast. Weather in England at the time was beautiful. Yeah, we're ready to go. We even had fog. It was so calm. But this low pressure brought in a number of different weather fronts. And I have stuff here when it came to the weather. There's great resources online that you can look at it. So what I have here, these ISO bars are showing it where the pressure was changing. And you're talking, look at this, you can see the hectopascals, where you're looking at very, very low pressure in and around 980 up to about 1008. And all the way over to England, where you have this low pressure dominating coming in over Scotland, and this front coming in here from the west. This is where they were able to pick up high pressure, would in fact move in and create a teeny tiny gap on June the 6th. That's what they were aiming for, right? How's our direction going? Are we still going the right way? We are. We are. Right, slight change, Murphy. Left turn-ish. About 204 will do us. How are we all doing? Are we still all alive? Yes? Everyone's here? Look at this. Beautiful. Hey, we got a Buffalo Airways with us. In a pink livery. Jesus. Charlotte Pina says, could zoom in and see your house. Nice. So, General Eisenhower made the final decision, a choice fraught with risk, but underpinned the meteorological expertise provided by Stagg and his team. This improved weather condition, however brief, was critical for the airborne and seaborne operations. Leading up to that, Eisenhower called all the lads in, all the high commanders in for a meeting to say, look, this is the current weather, what do we think? Can we go in a storm? The Navy? Yeah. Montgomery with the troops? Yeah, no problem. It was the Air Force. The Air Marshal turned around and said, no, we cannot fly in zero visibility. Think about it. Back then, we didn't have ILS. We didn't even have VOR. They had no way to navigate without using visual flight rules to get around. Or did they? We'll get into that in a moment. The idea being, they had no way to accurately fly to their location if they were going to be socked in with bad weather. So, the improved weather conditions, however brief, Eisenhower gave the nod at 3:30 in the morning, on the morning of the 5th of June. So, the weather over Normandy on the 6th of June, it was far from perfect, but it was within acceptable limits. The paratroopers and glider units launched their operations under the cover of darkness, and the amphibious forces began their perilous journey across the Channel. They had relatively calmer seas and clearer skies as predicted, which allowed the invasion to proceed with a higher chance of success. Maureen Flavin Sweeney's observations, made from a remote lighthouse, had a profound impact on the course of history. Her contributions ensured that the Allies could capitalise on the brief window of opportunity, setting the stage for the successful landings. She was able to let them know there was bad weather on the way, and then they were able to figure out, mainly with Stag, there was going to be a little pocket of good weather. It's amazing how important this was. If for whatever reason they had to delay the invasion, even as much as another week, the Germans could have figured out what was happening. All the misinformation from Fortitude and Bodyguard, it was only ever seconds away from letting the cat out of the bag, and the whole thing being like, there it is. This is what we're actually doing. It would have changed the course of history. Now, we're over here now. As the weather conditions finally aligned, the airborne and seaborne components of Operation Overlord launched. And they launched in aircraft like what we're flying today. The Douglas C-47 Skytrain, we're in a DC-3. So the Douglas C-47, known effectively as the Goonie Bird, was an indispensable aircraft in the Allied war effort. This versatile aircraft, it was a military version of the DC-3, adapted to carry paratroopers, gliders, and transport essential supplies. The C-47 played a pivotal role on D-Day in both the airborne and resupply missions. The primary transporter for paratroopers of the airborne divisions, including the 82nd and the 101st, they were tasked with delivering thousands of troops behind enemy lines. Despite the dangers of anti-aircraft fire and the challenges of nighttime flying, well, they were up to the task. Some other aircraft used would have been the Albion aircraft, including the Short Stirling, a British 4-engined heavy bomber, and also the Handley Page Halifax, another British 4-engined bomber that were used for dropping paratroopers and, of course, towing gliders during D-Day. The C-47s not only carried paratroopers, they could tow gliders filled with reinforcements and heavy equipment. This dual role was critical in ensuring that the airborne divisions could secure their objectives and hold their ground until reinforcements arrived. Most notably, from the glider pilots, the first bit of action on D-Day came at a place called Pegasus Bridge, where Horsa gliders were used to land them within yards of their target zones. Men and equipment could then be rushed in under relatively secrecy because, well, the glider, the advantage is, well, there's no engine. Not like this. Our beautiful Pratt & Whitney engines here making all sorts of noise as we're heading down towards our assembly points. But we didn't have this with gliders. It's pretty cool when you think about it. The evolution of glider pilots, well, they learned an awful lot from Italy. And there were some issues. There was no way to communicate in the early days with the towing vehicle. They were heavy. There was no armour. There was no protection. There wasn't even a speed brake. They learned hard. They had to learn the hard way. But come the time of Operation Neptune and Overlord, well, they had all these sorted. Other towing aircraft, the P-38 Lightning, the B-17, these were all used to tow glider aircraft. Pretty cool. P-38, that was used extensively. And I'm doing more research on it because I'm trying to find out what airfield and what group of pilots of P-38s were used just to tow gliders. But, oh Jesus, but a lot of them are used. A lot of them are used. Now, let's have a look. We're doing well, lads. Current altitude, 1500. We're going to be descending, not yet, in a little while. We're going to maintain 1500. And once we get down to our next waypoint, I'll let you know when. It's going to be a case of lights off. How are we all doing? Adam B. Twitch, good to see you, man. One of the key technologies that enhanced the effectiveness of the C-47, of course, was the operation known as Eureka and Rebecca. This was part of the navigation system. Pathfinders were sent in advance of everyone, and they would lay beacons on the ground, and these beacons would transmit, just like a VOR station would do today. On the aircraft, you'd have aerials. It was known as the Eureka and Rebecca. Eureka would talk to Rebecca, Rebecca would listen. The idea being is, in the aircraft, they had this special box. It's almost like a Vox meter, or like a heart rate monitor. And depending on what the frequency and the heading But the pilot was able to say, right, we can see the line sharper, we're going the right direction. If it was all wavy and a little bit faint, well, they weren't going the right direction. It was early rudimentary instrument flying technique, and it was called the Eureka and Rebecca. It was class. C-47s, amongst others, were fitted with them. If the DC-3 doesn't have it, it just has high frequency antennas. If you look at a C-47, for which I'm sure we have one around us, there's a 47 behind us, so hang on, lads. Bear with me now, we'll get this sorted. There's a C-47 back here, so there he is. So if we have a look at this guy. Hang on, where's the C-47? Look for the dangling troop. Huh. Here we go. No, no. And we'll find him. The C-47, they're all DC-3s. DC-3s, DC-3s, DC-3, 48, DC-3. Jesus, are we all in DC-3s? Who's in a C-47? I can show you. Anyway, there we go. Here's the C-47 here, lads. Look. Now, don't mind that there's a crew member hanging out of the gadget, right? If we have a look at this, you'll see the antenna? Easy now, Murph. See the antenna beside where it has M5? See that mad-looking antenna thing? That there is part of the Eureka and Rebecca system. That aerial was its own little device. How cool is that? And that's on the C-47. Do you see it there? That's the antenna there, right? That's what it is. How are we getting on? We're all right. This is fantastic flying. So the vital role of the C-47 Skytrain and other aircraft, it made the difference. 38 paratroopers are fit in these aircraft. Other aircraft carried, equipment, supplies. But from the paratrooping side of the fence, 38 troopers could be carried in these. And you also had paratroopers fully laden in a C-47, and you also had towing a glider. Could have been a Waco, could have been whatever. We'll learn about the gliders now in a moment. But to this day, the amount of DC-3s, C-47s still flying, there's quite a few. If anyone saw the Normandy commemorations there over the last few days on whatever media, you would have seen That's All Brother. You would have saw, I think it's D-Day Doll. They're still flying today. Those aircraft, like, they're 100 years old. Well, they're 90 years old anyway. And they're still flying to this day. And then, of course, we know that we have... what's the name of the crowd up near Oshkosh? What's the name of the crowd? They're near Oshkosh, and they actually update these aircraft, give them new engines and a new lease of life. Placid Lassie was another one. Shoot a bandage, yeah. It's mad, right? Mad. Now, talking about gliders. Balser. Thank you, Colonel Fork. Balser, that's the one. So, gliders. We do get a Waco glider, the Waco CG-4A, as part of the C-47 add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, the Waco glider was an engineering marvel of its time. It was constructed from a steel frame covered with fabric, designed to carry significant loads. Each glider could transport 13 troops, or a combination of equipment, including jeeps and even artillery. Towed by C-47 and others, the gliders could land in areas where powered aircraft could not, providing a stealthy and efficient means of deployment. On the night of the 5th and 6th of June, as part of Operation Overlord, multiple glider missions were launched. Among the key missions were Operation Detroit, aimed at delivering the 82nd Airborne Division's glider infantry, and Operation Elmira, intended to reinforce the 82nd Airborne with additional troops and heavy equipment. Similarly, Operation Galveston targeted reinforcements from the 101st Airborne Division. The glider missions faced numerous challenges. Enemy aircraft fire, rough terrain, and the inherent risks of nighttime landings made these operations perilous. Despite the dangers and considerable losses, most gliders successfully delivered their precious cargo to the designated landing zones, thanks to the skill and bravery of the glider pilots and troops that they carried. Glider pilots would have had airman training, considerably less than the actual pilots than other pilots flying the likes of the C-47. They had to learn how to do it. Lots of Waco gliders were built in Michigan. Wow. That's nuts. Michigan. So, we're over here now. One of the most significant successes of the glider operations was the capture of key positions, such as the La Fier Bridge by the 82nd and the bridge spanning over the Murderous River crucial objective for preventing German counterattacks and ensuring the movement of Allied forces. Glider missions also played critical roles in the 101st Airborne Division by delivering reinforcements and heavier equipment that paratroopers alone could not carry. And again, the main one, the most famous one, probably for the gliders, when it came to Pegasus Bridge, landing the British Airborne to take that position. It was the first first shots fired, the first casualties of D-Day itself. In addition, of course, to the Wacko glider, other types of gliders were used. You had the airspeed Horsa glider, a British glider capable of carrying up to 30 fully equipped troops or vehicles such as jeeps and small artillery. It was much larger and sturdier than the Wacko, and it played a significant role. We also had the Hamilcar, it was known as the GAL 50, another British glider. The Hamilcar was used, much larger, designed to carry heavier equipment, including tanks. A glider could carry a tank. Absolutely nuts, right? So, Mission Albany and Boston and the roles of the 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions. As we said, we are flying on Mission Albany. 757 pilot Dave, he's flying on Mission Boston. Now, our entry level and assembly area are pretty much the same. However, the 82nd are going to be slightly north of us, and we're going to be slightly south. I'm just correcting my heading here, lads. I'm after drifting a little bit off. Don't forget to hit your recenter your heading. Jesus, look at this. This is brilliant. Now, what we need to do, friends, look at this weather front over there. We are just about to approach our main waypoint. At this waypoint, we are going to turn off all our lights. And this is important. The reason why they turned off their lights, it was to make sure that they wouldn't be seen under any of the German-occupied islands, Guernsey and Alderney. So we're slightly off skew here, but we'll correct that. But at this stage now, we're going to turn off our lights. So, inside the DC-3, let's look up above us. Position lights off, beacon light off. Now, we do have a tail light, so you can see these lights bright or dim. So if I look at the very, very back of the aircraft, it's nice and dim. If I want to make it bright, well, I can do this. Yeah? So these lights on the very rear, for the moment, absolutely fine. All other lights, off. And if you want, they have passing lights in these DC-3s as well. Not position. Where's the passing light? Passing light would illuminate this light over here in the left wing. But we don't need that. We're going to keep them all off. So passing light off. Rear wall spots. Panel lights are where I need them. Cockpit lights, we can bring these up if we want, just to help us out. So we can see what's happening inside. Towards the rear of the aircraft, they would have a little bit of lighting themselves in there. Do you know? So the objectives. We're flying our virtual paratroopers over this neck of the woods. And, well, we're in the cloud. It's extremely dark. Maybe if I kill that light so we can actually see out the window a little bit. What do you reckon, lads? Look how dark it's getting now because we're coming into this cloud. Isn't this something else? Okay, so we've just hit our waypoint. We're now going to descend, lads. We're going to go down to 1,000 feet. Dip the nose down and watch our speed as we do this. Main tank, keep an eye on your fuel because you might have to switch over to your auxiliary tanks when we're doing the drop. And what's kind of mad here as well, I think about it, the flight time, the duration this is taking us, this is how long it took them. A lot of the guys on the naval assault for Operation Neptune, they had vessels pulling out of Belfast and Scotland. Those guys were at sea for more than 20 hours before they got down towards Normandy. Imagine that, stuck in the boat. Crazy. Turn the lights out, says Eamon. This is really super. I'm absolutely in awe when it comes to how new this was. You know what I mean? Now we're going to cheat here a little bit because I can use this drone camera to keep an eye on things. So we're very much in a bit of cloud cover. We got our aircraft all around us. Bar a handful of folks with some lights on, nav lights and passing lights. Make sure your lights are off, lads. Turn off your lights! Jesus! If you don't know how to turn them off, just hit the L key. That'll turn them off. People cannot see. Yeah, exactly. Isn't it mad? And here's the thing, right? Of the aircraft flying, only the lead ship had the Eureka and Rebecca system. How frightening is that? If that aircraft was taken out of it, good luck in the cup. The other aircraft flying in formation, they weren't equipped with the same navigation systems. So it was the lead ship, the lead aircraft in these groups only had that equipment on board. Isn't that absolutely mad, lads? It is mad. So I'm putting in very small course adjustments here just to get us on course. 202 degrees. Let's have a look at our map. This is all powered by Navigraph, by the way, lads. Absolutely incredible bit of kit. So we're going to be heading down to here. We're down at 1,000 feet. And then as we approach the coast, we're going to slow it down a little bit more. And we're going to be getting our folks to get ready. And this is where it's all going to start kicking off. Business is going to pick up. How are we all doing so far?
Hello.
Weren't we meant to make a left turn? No, Dave, not yet. So that turn you saw, that's our way home. That's our way home. We fly down this way here, and then back up and out. All right. Lead Ballooner, good to see you, man. Let me see. Fox Fly TV. Thank you very much indeed for the follow. Great to see you, man. A very happy Saturday. The Germans sunk great big wooden poles into fields to prevent them from landing. It actually caused some real bad crash landings. Absolutely. The Germans had defences all over the shop. Although I see many plane tags in my view, I don't see many of the tags two-tone showing. Bruce, yeah, you're always going to get little differences between them. Like where I'm flying now, it's going to show the closest 20 aircraft in my proximity. But other groups will see others. And don't forget, Dave is flying along as well. Which is always cool, right? Dave is probably just up the road a little bit. Let's have a look. Where's Dave? Oh, he's looking at my stream as I'm looking at his stream. That's brilliant. Hello, Dave. That's fantastic. We'll give a big wave, right? Brilliant, right? So I'll show you where we are. Hello, good evening, everyone over at Spyflight, and hope you're all keeping very well. I'll show you on Navigraph. We're flying Mission Albany, and you guys are on Mission Boston. So I think you guys are with elements of the 82nd. We're with elements of the 101st. So we're just about to be making a left turn as we're kind of near Jersey and Albany, and we will be approaching the French coast. I think you guys are going to be somewhere up here, and we're just a little bit south of you down there. Our flight plan will take us just north of Carentan before we turn left out over Utah. So we're very, very close. I'd love to see. Well, I mean, we can do it on this map here. Look, I don't know how many aircraft. There's a lot. There's a lot of aircraft here. We'll get total numbers here now in a bit if we can. But yeah, this is insanely cool, right? The Germans flooded a lot of the fields to make it harder for airborne landings as well. 100%. There is Spy in our chat. Great to see you, Dave. That's fantastic. Let me see. Okay. And of course, lads, if you haven't already, I'm sure you have, do be sure to follow 757 Spy. Hey, Ashley is here. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. I still have you at 1500, Murph. That's because I'm in EGTE and I didn't descend. I'm descending now. See? That's why I'm not in charge. Right, I'm descending now. Hey, Rockin' Rimmer's with us. Good to see you. There's Eagle Eye. That's pretty cool. So Eagle Eye in a P-47, you're able to jump between both aircraft. Right? How cool is that? Now, if I make the time of day exactly the way it should be, nice and dark, we should have a moon popping up soon, if I've done this correctly. We should have. Look at this, though. Isn't that class looking? Wonder what the sound is going to be like. Will we do a fly past? Let's just get an idea of what's happening. Mind your ears here now, lads, but like we like the sounds. You ready? How deadly is that, right? How deadly is that? Beautiful. Okay. So we're doing all right. We're coming down now to 1,000 feet. Keep an eye on that speed. And time of day, let's just be sure. We're probably a little bit early, 22:39. Should be a little bit darker than what we are now, but I might just leave it. I think we're good. We should get a little bit of illumination from the moon, I'd have thought. What year are we? We should be in 2009. Yeah. So, there's Renwa beside me. I'll be expecting to see the moon here shortly. And if memory serves me, it's over there somewhere. Yeah, it's over there. You can kind of see it just out the right-hand side. So, lads, left turn coming in. It's going to be a heading of 120 degrees. Let's go ahead and pop this in now. 120 degrees. We are now turning toward France. Ashley says, could not afford a World War II plane, so did not join. Ashley, you can fly along. Ashley, do you have Join FS? If you want to fly on Join FS off the Microsoft server, I can change your aircraft to make it look like any of these, if you want. I'm getting the big sound stutter, says Dougal. Are you serious? Did you remove the sound AI files? You do, but it crashes? Aw. Alright, let's see what happens here now. We are heading toward the coast. Oof. Speed is good. Altitude is good. Let's see what's going to happen here. The lights we're looking at down at Albany. We're not the lead aircraft, so I'm expecting the Germans to be very much awake when we get down here, lads. And I suppose we got to think of the side of the Germans as well. Remove the politics out of this for a minute. A lot of the soldiers stationed up here, they were kids. They were kids. They were young guys. Yes, you had the 15th Army, who were still waiting in the Pas de Calais. Even the end of June, the 15th Army were waiting at the Pas de Calais for a phantom army that was never going to arrive, right? Old veteran 965, Scott, a very good evening to you. I hope you're well. But a lot of the German soldiers here from the Wehrmacht, I mean, these lads, they were kids, right? I mean, yeah, they enlisted, they signed up, they fought, of course they did. But, like, imagine being stationed here. When I was out there, we got chatting to a load of locals. We actually went for dinner with a French family, and they were telling us, Manning was his name. And Jesus, he was in his 80s. It must be 15, 16 years ago now. But he was telling us that the German soldiers who were positioned out here, they thought this was kind of, it was kind of sold to them as like a summer camp. See the world, you know, visit France, stay by the beach, you can play football and, you know, have barbecues and all this. That's the way it was sold to a lot of these guys. So they were like, hey, this looks like a great number, come on. It's like a holiday camp. Before they knew it, Rommel was in there going, no, you build this, fix that, and do this. Could you imagine it? Aaron Flood, good to see you, man. Great flight and turnout. It's awesome. We have a massive turnout tonight. It's super cool. Duca says, my friend's grandfather was just 19 when he went to shore at Sword Beach. Wow. Kids, conscripts, POWs. Yep, absolutely. There were also a lot of folks who didn't belong to Germany but were forced in from other countries. Very much so, yes. Wayne says, I feel like that's how they still sell it. Kinda, right? Kinda. A lot of them were from Eastern Europe units as well. As in they were of Eastern descent and shipped out to the Western Front. Yep. The Western Front, the Eastern Front. You know, I mean, the level of fighting, which was intense on both sides, and the loss of human life. Remove the politics out of it. Break all of that away, you know? There's no question, there's no doubt. You know, the Nazis, that pure evil noise that's associated with that. I mean, I'm not bringing that into question whatsoever. I'm looking at the human impact of the troops involved during this entire operation, for both sides. I mean, Jesus, must have been just hell. Doing a class tomorrow with the cadets. Oh, nice, nice. Dave says, I got speaking with a veteran 10 years ago at the 70th in St. Mary Glees. He was a DC-3 pilot for the 101st. His plane took a direct hit and it shredded his leg, killed his co-pilot, and he flew it back. Jesus. It's like some of the stories, lads. It's incredible. Right, we'll brighten things up here again. We can do that. There we go. There's a moon somewhere because it's getting terribly bright up there. Now I've just increased the exposure. I mean, look, live. If this was live, it's something like that. You can't see much, so we can brighten things up. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't this something? So many aircraft. This is just beautiful to watch. Spitfires. All the DC-3s. You got a Hurricane back there, look. What's that? A Wildcat or a Hellcat? P-38. This is beautiful, lads. P-47 there, Eagle Eye. Beautiful. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So 180 miles per hour, 1,000 feet, and we're on course. Slight turn to the right here again, just to keep us on track. Mark is 4,000 feet. Uh-oh. Grand, don't worry about it, it's fine. We're only on our way there. Only on our way there. The Fokker TR1. Sure thing, Ashley. Throw it in. Throw it in. Right, so Mission Albany and Boston, the roles of the 101st and the 82nd Airborne Divisions. As the Allies surged forward in the early hours of D-Day, two critical airborne missions, Mission Albany and Mission Boston, were already underway. These missions aimed to secure key positions behind the enemy lines to disrupt the German defences, facilitating the advance of the seaborne forces. Mission Albany was the code name for the operation involving the 101st Airborne Division, dropped behind Utah Beach. Their objectives were clear: capture and hold vital road junctions, bridges and causeways, ensuring the safe passage of troops landing on the beaches. Leading the 101st was Major General Maxwell D. Taylor, with key figures like Richard Winters and Colonel Robert Sink playing pivotal roles. Their mission included three main drop zones: Alpha, Charlie and Delta, each with a specific target critical to the success of the overall invasion. Drop Zone A near Saint Marie de Mont, the 101st aimed to capture the town and secure the road junction. Meanwhile, Drop Zone C near Virville required the division to secure the crucial causeways leading inland from Utah Beach. One of the most significant engagements of Mission Albany was the assault on Breakour Manor. Upon discovering a German artillery battery threatening Utah Beach, Richard Winters led a small group of paratroopers in a daring attack. Using a flanking manoeuvre, they silenced the guns, a textbook example of small unit tactics and leadership, which is still practiced to this day over in West Point. Simultaneously, the 82nd Airborne Division carried out Mission Boston, objectives including capturing of St. Mary Glees and securing the bridges over the Murderate River. Led by Major General Matthew Ridgway and Brigadier General James Gavin, the 82nd faced intense resistance but ultimately succeeded in their mission. The capture of St. Mary Glees by the 82nd Airborne was one of the first major victories of D-Day. This town, a vital crossroads, it was essential for controlling movement in the region. The operations of the 82nd ensured that German forces could not mount an effective counterattack against the beaches. Both divisions faced significant challenges, including scattered drops. Paratroopers were thrown miles all over the DC, and that was due to weather, anti-aircraft fire, and just mass confusion. Their training and resilience and effective use of the Eureka and Rebecca navigation system did help a lot of the pilots, and ultimately the training that the paratroopers received enabled the paratroopers to achieve their objectives. The efforts of the 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions demonstrated the strategic importance of the airborne operations, and also that of both the British and Canadian airborne troops who landed further down on the beaches, most notably Pegasus Bridge. That's nuts. It's nuts, isn't it? Now, as we said, the targets for Easy Company in particular, well, Breakour Manor, yes, was one of them, and also they had to take in the Sainte Marie de Mont. And that's a beautiful little town, or village, Sainte Marie de Mont. I've been there, and there's a lovely, not got a full moon in 2009? Really? Should be. 1,000,000% in 2009 there should be a full moon. We can't see it, we're in the cloud. This is going to be interesting though. But I mean, we've all watched Band of Brothers, I'm sure, right? I mean, that's as accurate as they can get it. There's a phenomenal book about that as well. And a character, he was made famous, of course, by Band of Brothers, which is Richard Winters. Went all the way up to Major. Fascinating character, as all the other guys of Easy Company. And what's kind of remarkable, I think, about, you know, Band of Brothers, that's just one company. It's just one company. There are vast amounts of companies. There was armies, different divisions. It was absolutely incredible. When you think about it, that just focused on one company. The heroism, the bravery, the stories, the characters that you learn. And they did something similar as well with, you know, the, what was it called? The most recent one? Following the 100 Bomber Group. Fascinating stuff. Richard Winters, of course, born on the 21st of January 1918 in New Holland, Pennsylvania. Graduated from Franklin and Marshall College in 1941 and enlisted in the US Army in August of the same year. Winters was assigned to Easy Company, 2nd Battalion, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division. He was based at Camp Toccoa in Georgia, where he quickly rose to the ranks due to his leadership skills and competence. On the 6th of June, Winters, then a first lieutenant, parachuted into Normandy, leading a successful assault on the German artillery battery up at Breacourt Manor. He earned him the Distinguished Service Cross. Winters went on, he fought all the way through the war. Even kind of after the war, he went off and fought in the, he served in the Korean War briefly as a training officer. He didn't see any combat, and then he left the military shortly thereafter. Richard Winters passed away on January 2nd, 2011, at the age of 92. But yeah, it's he was just made famous from Band of Brothers. Awesome though. So we continue on. I'm just off your right wing. I'll get at the same time. Mrs. Cruz says Dave can see land already. Brings a lot of DCs with him. Nice. We just had a friend to all. Thank you very much indeed, man. They fight not for lust of conquest. They fight to end conquest. They fight to liberate. Franklin D. Roosevelt on D-Day. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome, isn't it? When you get a chance, take a read of The Longest Day. Quite well done and told from not just the staff side, but also interviews with people in the ranks on both sides. Ooh. That's awesome. Balut is currently watching Masters of the Air. Yeah, it's very good. Very, very good. They also did the Pacific. So I think Band of Brothers was more about the camaraderie. I think the Pacific was more about the combat. And I think Masters of the Air tried to share both. I mean, that's kind of, you know, that's, I think that's how they achieved it, you know? Had no moon at this time so far. Yeah, I don't know what the story is. Winter's Legend. Yeah, Band of Brothers was the best one. I agree. It's my favourite one as well. Turning towards, I see where you are on the XP map. Ooh, nice. Yeah, we're on Join a Fest. Yes, yes, yes. There is no winner when a war happens. Just lost. I agree, Fallen Up. I agree. Cyrus, can you confirm there's a full moon on in 2009? If you have your date set to that. There should be. I can't see it myself, but we'll worry about that now in a moment. Small course correction here, lads. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We can see the coast of France. Let's get above the clouds here for a minute. Briefly. That's sound. Get above this cloud layer. My understanding is we should have a full moon. Unless I made a complete and utter balls of it. It could be the time of day though. It could be too early. The moon hasn't come up yet. Hang on. Hang on. Let's do something a bit mad. Don't mind me for a minute, lads. There's our moon. Right, so what I recommend, lads, change your current time of day to midnight. Change your time to midnight. Holy mother of J. Look at this. Yeah, change your time to midnight. You'll definitely see the moon. Okay, there will be a left turn coming up. Jerry is awake, right? Which Normandy scenery? This is a brand new one from Jeppesen 2001. We can see searchlights way off in the distance. This ain't good. They know we're coming. Now, make sure you're fully set up here, lads. Check your fuel.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I suspect we're going to have a lot of distractions as we go flying. So I need to change my fuel here. I'm going to go left auxiliary tank. And we're going to go right auxiliary tank. And to keep an eye on these things, there's the auxiliaries. And we should be grand, right? We should be grand. Captain Mountains, good to see you. Jay Silverton, welcome in. Spies behind us? Okay. Ben's boy, no. I think the furthest it goes back is like 2006, I think. Look at this, lads. Holy crap. I think I got myself lost and ended with Spies Group. That's quite okay, Balut. It's funny you mentioned that. That happened on the night as well. And that actually happened before they came under anti-air attack. Jonesy, welcome in. Thank you for subscribing. Jerky Jacko, welcome in. 1990 super tight. That's the one. Right, lads. Yes, turn off your aircraft lights. You're doing pretty well here. Most of you have them turned off, but like, if you have lights on your aircraft, turn them off. In particular, the passing light. So I can see a good few with your passing lights on. And if you're in fighters, lights off as well. We're going to be making a left turn here very shortly. And then, lads, we're going to drop down to about 800 feet. We got to slow it down to about 110 miles an hour, no faster, as we approach and line up for our paratroop drop. Maplev, if you go to twotonemurphy.com, you'll grab it there. Tuesday says, fascinating to watch it all through the binos from bedroom window. Yeah. Last count, 48 planes can be seen so far with Dave. Nice. Right, lads, let us do a count as we approach things here. If you're on the Xbox, press 1, PC, press 2, and for everyone else just watching, you guys press number 3, and let's see what's going to happen here. Okay, another course correction coming in. We're going to be turning left, 85 degrees. This is getting intense. This is getting proper intense. It's all happening here, lads. Watch your speed coming in. We can see flak out there. Here's the moon. Oof. Lights are awesome looking, aren't they? Can't see we can hear or something? Okay, watch your speed. Watch your altitude. We're on the Southeast Asian server. We have some custom scenery for this. 63 on PC, 4 on the console. Nice.
Jesus.
Oh, things are getting real here. Jesus. We got flak and everything, look. Isn't that something? Isn't that incredible? Isn't that absolutely incredible? Right, how are we looking at? Oh, Jesus. So we're going to be coming up to our drops here, lads. Let's have a look. The sounds get quieter, isn't that mad? Right, we got to bring our speed down a little bit. Currently at 160. Start dropping it back a bit. And we need to drop down 800 feet. How's our course going? 9-1? Let's go 9-3. Get on that magenta line. Ah, damage him, absolutely. Guys, everything you're seeing here is thanks to Jeppesen 2001. Jeppesen has a number of freeware and payware sceneries. This is freeware. Do be sure to check him out. Buy the guy a coffee, get him a beer. Jeppesen will be at Expo. I'll be there as well. So if you see him, get the man a coffee. Just be sure of it, you know? Now, on our current course, we're going to be turning left. See where those searchlights are way off in the distance? We got to get up to those. So currently 800 feet. Start bringing the speed back. We're going to be getting our lads ready for a deployment here. That's the wrong door, Murphy. That's the right door, Murphy. Jesus, look at that behind us though, look. Not mad looking. So we are getting ready to deploy our paratroopers. Turn off your strobe lights. You're telling everyone where we are. Okay, continue on this course. They really jumped 200 feet off the deck at an altitude of 800 feet. Yeah. So speed is coming down nicely. Keep letting it decel. We're pretty much facing Sainte Marie de Mont. This is where our main drop zone is. It'd be grand. Yeah, it's great. It's great stuff from Jeppson, lads. It really is. He's a genius. Jeppson has made scenery for us for years and never ever fails to impress. Absolutely incredible. Hard to get your head around what these guys did, isn't it? Isn't it? Like, imagine the relentless fire, aircraft going down left and right. Plus the weather, right? So speed is coming down nicely. We're going to be getting ready for our jump. How we doing, folks? Jesus, look at that for the view, look. Isn't that something? Look at that, lads. Okay, we're looking good. Speed is where we need it to be. Drop zone is coming up very, very shortly. Small turn. If you look closely at the searchlights ahead, you will see paratroopers being dropped. Look at the state of that. You guys see that? There are paratroopers being dropped as we speak. Look at that. Got more over here. They got more over here. Uh oh, we're getting flak again. Anyone else see that flash? We're getting close to our drop zone. We got more flak coming in. Okay, prepare to drop your troopers, lads. Okay, prepare for a left turn over the heading 030 degrees. Time to drop the troops. What a tribute. Can we get some Jepson emotes into the chat, lads? Incredible scenery. As we fly now, the return leg, heading back to England. I think combined we have almost 80 C-47s in flight. 80! What a way to go, right? That was awesome. Wasn't that amazing? Jesus, lads. Right. How are we getting on plane? We're doing okay. We're slightly off course, but surely it's grand. It's grand. Do we like that? Incredible work, Jepson. Oh, man, that was incredible. Looks awesome on the radar. Really? Let's have a look. Absolutely incredible flying, guys. That was just... oh... just incredible, right? And a massive thanks to 757 Spy, to the Spy flight.
Hello there.
This has been so much fun getting to fly with everyone. Right, let's tidy up our operation here. We're going to go back up to 1,000 feet. And lights not on just yet. Not just yet. Victorious Mark, welcome in. Thank you for the phone. Airline radar, how are we looking? Oh, yeah. So this is everyone on Firefly Air, currently in the flight. Look at that. It's awesome. And the great news is, lads, this scenery, it's available for you forevermore, for free. You want to do this flight over and over again, you're more than welcome to. All you got to do, head on over to twotonemurphy.com, go to the downloads page, register a free account, You'll find it here in our downloads page. It includes all the scenery you saw tonight, the searchlights, the paratroopers, the flak, the whole shebang. And you want to check it out during the daytime as well, because Jeppesen has included gun positions, flak 88, spotlights with crew, and of course, Higgins boats, the landing craft. Everything is there as well. So this is all available for you. It's over on our website. Do be sure to grab it. And it's just incredible. It's all for free. It's all for free. And what I'd recommend doing, if you wanted to, so if you were to use an add-on called Airshow Assistant, just to give you an idea, let's say you want to fly this back in your own time. Well, if you download the Airshow Assistant, you can get this on Xbox as well. If I go to Wingman and give me a flight of 3, and give us about 30%, these guys are going to form up and also fly with you in formation. And you can add a lot more, like we can go as high as 11 if you wanted to, and do the entire flight, and it's incredible. It's really, really good. So a massive thanks to Jeppesen for creating the scenery. Gibbo gave me savage help getting the weather preset to work. The liveries by their respective authors, the artists, all this stuff is found over on flightsim.to. Incredibly gifted artists that we have there. And so these 3 aircraft just beneath me, that's the Airshow Assistant. I mean, that's how, look at that, like. And we can add in an awful lot more if we want. So if you're flying this on your own, and look at the scenery there behind us, look. If you're flying this on your own, just in case, you know, if you miss flying tonight, you can absolutely do this in your own time with the Airshow Assistant, get all those aircraft in there, and it's very, very immersive. And those sounds that we have, they're included. I added in another one, which was, you know, this one. But that's just taking a clip off a YouTube video and sticking it on and little press of a button. But they're the little things. They're the little things, you know. So to our Airshow Assistant, good luck to you. And we'll continue on our merry way. We're going to be making a left turn here shortly as we climb back up. We're going to pick up our speed now as we're heading back. And we still have a lot more information to cover while we're here, lads, because such was the mission, right? Operation Overlord, Neptune, Mission Albany, Mission Boston, everything that led up to this. Fortitude, Bodyguard, even the weather report from Maureen all the way over in County Mayo. But what about the resupply? What happened after the initial beach landings? As the Allies solidified their positions in Normandy and began their push inland, one of the most crucial aspects of sustaining the momentum was resupply. Oh, behave! Admiral Ted, thank you very much indeed for the 100 bits. Cheers, man. Aspects of sustaining the momentum was resupply missions. These efforts ensured that the troops had a continuous flow of ammunition, food, medical supplies, fuel, and reinforcements necessary to maintain the offensive against the German forces. To support the massive influx of men and materials, the Allies implemented several innovative logistical solutions. Among the most significant was the construction of Mulberry Harbours and the execution of Operation Pluto.
Hello there.
Pluto stood for Pipeline Under the Ocean. Jabe71, thank you indeed for following. Thank you very much indeed. Bring back up the nameplates here so we can see who's flying with us, lads. There we are. Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. And I know we got more than this flying with us. That's just what the sim might show, but it's incredible. So left turn coming up shortly. Mulberry Harbours were artificial ports designed to facilitate the rapid offloading of supplies directly onto the beaches. These prefabricated structures were transported across the English Channel and assembled off the coast of Normandy. Their success allowed the Allies to bypass the heavily fortified ports. Cherbourg was one of them. When it came to the Mulberry Harbours, a massive storm rolled into the area about a week or two after D-Day. There were in fact 2 Mulberry Harbours. There was one at Omaha and there was one at Arromanches. The one at Arromanches can still be seen to this day, or at least remains of it. They towed off a lot of them over to the Netherlands, funny enough, for land reclamation. But mad, right? Operation Pluto. The operation involved laying undersea pipelines from Britain to Normandy, ensuring a steady and reliable supply of fuel for the advancing Allied armies. The pipelines were critical in maintaining the mechanised units that spearheaded the push into France. They laid cables under the sea, right? In addition to the engineering marvels, the air resupply
Dreamy,
missions...
sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Jesus, Kanzui! He turned off me lights. The air resupply missions played a vital role, including that of the C-47 sky trains and other transport aircraft, conducting aerial drops of supplies to units on the front line, and also other missions, reconnaissance, troop carrier transport, medical evacuation, and also flying in resources that would start building new airfields in France. The logistical efforts were overseen by Major General John C.H. Lee, commander of the Services of Supply, or SOS. His meticulous planning and coordinates, they were crucial in ensuring that the Allied forces remained well supplied. There's things happening! An anonymous gifter just gave 5 anonymous gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you very much, whoever that was. Thank you to the anonymous person who shall remain unnamed. I need to turn left here rapidly. Who's in charge? Yes, left. 291. But the fact that I've missed it, let's go 270 for the moment until we get ourselves back on track.
We're going the wrong way.
We're not going the wrong way. It's grand, lads. It's grand, right? Viper, I'll get you there now in a sec. I saw that. Jesus. Here we are. Look at the state. Here we are turning, right? Isn't the weather mad, look, isn't it? Anyway, where was I? I was over here. One of the most famous logistical operations was that of the Red Ball Express. The truck convoy system, which began operations in August 1944, transported supplies from the Normandy beachheads to the front lines. Operating around the clock, the Red Ball Express used over 6,000 trucks and thousands of drivers, many of whom were African-American soldiers. Their tireless efforts kept the advancing army supplied with the essentials needed to press forward. The challenges that they faced was immense. German forces targeted supply lines and infrastructure, necessitating the constant vigilance and protection. Again, Allied air superiority dominated this and in close order protection. Don't turn off telly. Despite the obstacles, the relentless drive and ingenuity of the logistics teams got the supplies to where they were needed. The success of the resupply mission after D-Day maintained the momentum of the Allied advance. Robust logistics allowed the Allies to outpace the German forces, who struggled to keep up their own supply lines. The steady influx of men and materials allowed the Allies to launch further offensives, pushing deeper into occupied France. So after the landings, effectively the Americans and the British. So if we're looking at, hang on, get a map of D-Day, that'll be easier, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. Operation Overlord. Right, do we have a map? We do. Okay. Check this out, right? So the map here, this is what we're looking at. See the flight route? This is what we did. Look, we came over from Exeter and we came across down. And see the way you have the 82nd and the 101st? See the way we're spread out here? See the difference? So we're 757. They would have turned left slightly ahead of us. They were north. We went a little bit further south, but we would have met up all in and around Utah. The glider group was slightly in between, and they were on the outer then as we head back. But anyway, effectively what happened was, right, the Americans were between Utah and Omaha, and then the British and Canadian forces were at Gold, Juno and Sword. Gold, Juno and Sword, when they established one big beachhead, their target was the city of Caen. And that was under General Monty, Bernard Montgomery. He was to take the city of Caen. 8 roads in, 8 roads out. The Americans, however, when they linked up Utah and Omaha into one continuous beachhead, well, they turned around and headed direct to Cherbourg. But the Germans already destroyed the port. The Americans had it back up and running within a matter of weeks. From there, the Red Ball Express was able to push everything from Cherbourg all the way down to Paris. And what was absolutely incredible there, lads, if you go to France now, you'll see these markers every mile. Every single mile there's a marker, and that was from the Red Ball Express. That was helping navigate the truck drivers. Yeah, I'm on the main road. Isn't that mad? Absolutely mad. Like, could you imagine at this stage, we'd be, you know, we're returning home. The time is about, I don't know, 1:30, maybe 2 a.m. We'll get back to England at about 3 a.m. And, you know, 3 hours later, 3.5 hours later, well, the first landing craft are approaching the beaches. Meanwhile, all the paratroopers who have been deployed, many of which lost their lives between the flooded fields, you know, getting shot, all this that went on, those who did survive were able to group. And, you know, it was not uncommon to have elements of the 82nd and the 101st all linking together. Because they were so spread out, right? They were so, you know, they went on for miles and miles. They were scattered all over the place. So they linked up and they continued and they went to fight on with their missions. Absolutely incredible. The story of D-Day, it is one of meticulous planning, incredible bravery and unwavering determination, from the grand deception of Operation Fortitude to the vital weather reports, from the precision of the Eureka and Rebecca systems to the daring airborne missions of the airborne divisions. Every element played a crucial role in the success of the mission. The resupply missions ensured continuous flow of necessary resources, while the innovative use of gliders demonstrated how silent and stealth attack could be used, moving in some of the heavier equipment. As we remember and honour the heroes of D-Day on both sides, loss of life was absolutely colossal. We reflect on the extraordinary efforts and indeed the sacrifices that made the liberation of Normandy possible. Now, I've more facts and I have a couple of stories to share with you from our own community. Where's this other thing now? Oh yeah, we're over here. So wait to hear some of this stuff, lads, right? There's all stuff happening. Who be this? Thank you for following Dump Gaming. Cheers, man. Very kind of you. Now, let me see. I've so many notes. Resupply, that's grand. So before the Allied attacks in June 1944, there had been many D-Day, or D-Days. D-Day is the term used by the armed forces to refer to the beginning of operation. D-Day stands for day, meaning it's actually short for day. However, D-Day on the 6th of June was so iconic, it became to be used solely when referring to the beginning of Operation Overlord. Now, I have a little bit of a military background. We would have used the terminology HR or D-Day on other operations, mainly for training, but D-Day is very much used when we're talking about Operation Overlord. Mark, your lights are blinding us, but at this stage we're probably okay. It's mad, isn't it? That's what they're talking about, D-Day. Now, I need to catch up on the chat. Fiber says, Murph, I'll actually be visiting the Normandy beaches and American cemeteries next year on my European trip. I also got a relative on my mom's side that's buried in the American cemetery. Was a member of the US Army as a private first class in the 60th Infantry Regiment, 9th Infantry Division, and was in the D-Day landings. Fiber, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. As I said, I've been in Normandy many times. We're actually going there later this year. We're actually staying in a house that Easy Company assaulted. We're staying there for 2 or 3 nights in a building that, when they landed, they assaulted this house. There was German forces at the house. They took them out of it, and then Easy Company used this building as an OP and a resupply, medical aid post and all that. And I shall get me self behind the wheel of a Willys Jeep as well. So looking forward to that. So yeah, if Nighthawks, the blue lights, that's only because I have the exposure levels up really high. So if I dim them back to where they need to be, they'll eventually go back to green. It's just the way I have the exposure levels, just so we can see what's happening. Like, it's pure nighttime. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit overexposed. That's all. It's like the house on the bridge too far. Yeah, 100%. Very much like. I can't wait. Really looking forward to it. Now, as we continue on here, right? Where's my notes? Wait to hear this now. Hungarian-born photographer Robert Capa, working for Life magazine, was the first photographer to land on Omaha Beach, one of the earliest waves. He took over 100 photographs, but an overexcited darkroom assistant in London melted the majority of them during development. Only 11 were salvaged. Life magazine then printed them and said that they were blurry because of Kappa's hands were shaking in the heightened drama of the moment. Couldn't exactly give out about that. Before D-Day, mini submarines crept into the beaches, and by night engineers would swim out to take soil samples, then swim back. Sleep submerged all day in the subs, and then repeat the following evening. Some commandos actually did this in 1943. They needed to get soil samples of the beach, and just by analysing the samples of sand, that would tell the Allies if tanks and heavy equipment could actually move. On the night of the invasion, only around 15% of all paratroopers landed in the right place. Despite this, their actions were pivotal in the success of the overall operation. When a D-Day memorial was being planned in the United States in 1990, it came to light that estimates for the number of dead Allied troops varied wildly, anywhere between 5,000 to 12,000. With its necrology project, the National D-Day Memorial Foundation in America set about establishing the number of troops killed in the Normandy invasion. Years of painstaking research identified 4,415 fatalities, of which 2,500 were Americans and 1,913 allies from 7 nations. While it is the most accurate record, it's still being added to as new evidence come to light, meaning it may not be a definitive count of those who fell. The D-Day landings were of the first of their kind on such a scale, and successfully pulling them off meant creating the right equipment for the job. Armoured vehicles developed under the command of Major General Sir Percy Hobart. These became known as Hobart's Funnies. They included the duplex drive swimming tank, basically an amphibian Sherman, the crocodile flamethrower tank, and the bobbin carpet layer, which laid reinforced matting on the soft sand so that armoured vehicles could cross it. 2 floating mulberry hammers were built in secrecy for D-Day, with about 45,000 people in the UK working on the project. One harbour was destroyed by a storm a few days after D-Day, but the other operated for 10 months. It landed more than 2.5 million troops, some 500,000 vehicles, and 4 million tonnes of supplies. The remains of this harbour can be seen off the beach at Arromanch. Gibbo! He gifted a tier 1 sub to Tarnish Mossman. Thank you very, very much indeed, Gibbo. Cheers, man. Theodore Roosevelt Jr., son of President and son of the US President and Spanish-American War Rough Rider Teddy Roosevelt, was no stranger to combat. He was gassed and wounded in the Battle of, Soissons during the First World War, and was quick to volunteer for World War II. Brigadier General Roosevelt had already led troops in North Africa and Sicily, and he was reassigned to England to assist in the Normandy invasion. Roosevelt's several requests to land with the first wave in the invasion were denied, but his final petition was accepted. Roosevelt, at the age of 56, was the oldest man and only general in the first wave of the storm the beaches of Normandy. In addition, he was the only father to serve with his son on D-Day. His son, Captain Quentin Roosevelt II, landed on Omaha Beach. General Roosevelt, who had long withstanding health problems, arthritis, a heart condition, and of course injuries sustained from the First World War, charged the beach with his cane and his pistol. Upon learning that the unit had drifted a mile off course during the landing, he modified the original plans under fire to attain objective success. A little over a month after D-Day, Theodore Roosevelt Jr. died of a heart attack. He was buried in the American cemetery in Normandy, and Roosevelt was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions during the beach landing on September 28th, 1944. There's something we just didn't know. That was mad. Gibbo, thank you very, very much indeed, dude, for that generosity. That's awesome. Thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Fallen Up says, I live near the D-Day Memorial in Bedford. Near the home of Shifty Powers? Wow. Good man yourself. So, Old Veteran is putting up a whole load. Oh, yeah, good call, Mrs. Yeah, good call. We'll do that. Where is this now? The Bremen Bar. So let's go in and look. Oh, look at this. DC-3 D-Day. Murphy, Fireflies, Dave. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Thank you, Nighthawk. It was a lot of fun. So look, this is the laying of the Pluto, Operation Pluto. Isn't that mad, isn't it? This here is where Roosevelt is buried. Theodore Roosevelt Jr. in Colville, in the US Academy. Look at that. Man alive. There's the mulberries getting towed over. There's some really great pictures, Scott. Thank you very much indeed. And like, lads, it's not made up. This isn't a movie. This isn't like, hey, what if we... This is real. This is real life. This is real history. Man, look at that glow of the moon. Look at the cut. Look at that. State of it.
That's a big 10-4.
The state of it. Gibbo gifted a sub to Balut. Ah, Gibbo. Sit in your hands. Thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Cheers. Lads, can we get the pints of Guinness emotes into the chat for Gibbo? Because he's gone absolutely nuts. He gave another one away there to a Scaredy Wolf, and to Tarnish and to Balut. Gibbo, thank you very, very much indeed. Pints of Guinness emotes, lads. Fill the screen. Make it go nuts. Very, very kind of you, dude.
Yeah, baby.
Ah, Jesus, old veterans at it now. 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Ah, lads, thank you very, very much indeed. If you've just received a tier 1 sub, give you emotes and access to our members area on Discord. Thank you very, very much. Do be sure to say thanks to the lads, old veteran, and Gibbo. Then Cyrus T jumped in and he said, no, I'll do 5. Cyrus, remember the last time you gifted 5 tier subs? I went on for like 20 minutes. Thank you very, very much indeed. Very, very kind of you. And that's awesome, lads. Thank you very, very much indeed. Old veteran, Cyrus T and Gibbo Ireland, lads. Thank you very, very much indeed. You're very kind. Now, sit in your hands. Now, what about the German side of the fence? We mentioned them a little bit earlier on, but...
Yeah, baby.
Ah, Jesus, it's never... Who did that now? Colonel Fork, you devil! Jesus! Colonel Fork has jumped in with 5 gifted tier 1 subs as well. Ah, Jesus. Thank you very, very much indeed, Colonel Fork. And it's all happening. I don't know who's in charge. Who's in charge? Thank you very, very much indeed. You're very kind, lads. Jesus, Gibbo, with a gifted tier 1 sub to your mama. Did you pick that out of the chat deliberately, Gibbo? Your ma. Thank you very, very much indeed. And the legendary legendage Hemmingbird. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Thank you very, very much indeed, lads. We're going to be turning right up here very shortly. And back into my notes here quick. The Atlantic Wall. We mentioned this earlier on. It started off in Norway and went all the way down to Spain. 1,670 miles, right? Erwin Rommel was tasked with inspecting and improving these defences in early 1944. Rommel believed that any invasion must be defeated at the beach itself, as he doubled the German ability to effectively counterattack once the Allies had established a foothold. But what happened? Yes, we had Operation Bodyguard and Fortitude.
Hello there.
But what was actually happening? Where was Hitler? Hitler instructed Rommel and the other guy, I forget his name, they were not allowed to advance troops without the express permission of the Fuhrer. Hitler said, you're not moving until I say so, right? Darren, thank you very much indeed for the follow. Welcome in. And Banana Dave, thank you for the follow, lads. You're very welcome aboard. So Hitler was sleeping when all this was going off, and no one dared wake him. No, he's asleep. We're not going in there. You're mad. He'd give out. And they didn't. They did not wake him up. Meaning, Rommel, well, he was paralysed. He could not move the panzer divisions. Also, the 15th Army was still waiting in the Pas de Calais. Had that 15th Army been able to mobilise, there's every chance the entire Allied expeditionary force would have been driven back into the sea. Highly likely. But it didn't. It didn't. It's just incredible stuff. Now, the Allied advances, right? So we spoke about the Red Ball Express, but also another notable unit here, the Big Red 1. The US 1st Infantry Division, known as Big Red 1, played a crucial role in the D-Day landings. They assaulted Omaha Beach and they faced some of the fiercest resistance from the German defences. Despite their heavy casualties, they managed to secure the beach, allowing subsequent waves to land and push forward. The capture of the port city of Cherbourg, another vital resource and objective to the Allies, the US 7th Corps under General Lawton Collins advanced up the Continent Peninsula, capturing Cherbourg on June 26th after intense fighting, overcoming the determined German resistance. Then, of course, we had the Battle of Caen. British and Canadian forces faced intense fighting to capture the city of Caen, a major objective for the Allies due to its strategic location and road network. The battle for Caen began on D-Day and continued for several weeks. The original plan, Monty said he would have that taken on D-Day itself. It took weeks, and the main reason behind it was the Germans had an SS Panzer Division defending Caen. Aftermath and the Mulberry Storm, so as we mentioned, it brought in 2.5 million troops, 500,000 vehicles, and 4 million tons of equipment. But there was also a number of airfields built, tons of them in fact. And when I was over there, we came across, in the middle of a field, you're well away from any of the big landmarks like the cemeteries or this airfield we found. It's in behind the new RAF, well, not even the RAF, it's the British memorial, brand new memorial. If anyone saw it, King Charles gave a speech there, lovely speech, and your man Macron gave the thing as well. DC-3s, C-47s flew over, the Red Arrows and the Patrol de France flew over. It was absolutely incredible looking. And I have to say, looking at the footage from, like, you know, BBC News, Sky News, all the news channels, looking at the footage from D-Day 80, the whole commemorative thing. Tom Hanks did a great interview, I think, with CNN. But I have to say, I was more impressed with the British response. They did some incredible things at Portsmouth. They used these drones to have like a light display, and it was a big to-do. And it was a very poignant and touching ceremony at one of the British cemeteries back in England. Very, very, like, the newscaster reading the report got choked up. That's how, right? But I think the British just did a great job. Like, fascinating and just deadly when it comes to that, the whole marching and, do you know what I mean? Tradition, military tradition. That's what I'm getting at. It's not to say the Americans didn't do well either. They very much did. And it could have been the case that the media just picked up on things a little bit closer to home, right? Because Jesus, when you see what some of the Americans, I didn't like your man's speech at Cavill. The current director of the Cavill place. I wasn't mad on that. And we will do, you know, who was he? Egypt. But apart from that, the commemoration, and of course the dwindling numbers of the veterans, it's very sad. It's what's going to happen, but it's very sad. But if you get the chance to look back, Tom Hanks did a couple of good interviews. I thought they were very, very good. And if you look at Cavill at the American cemetery, where President Biden and President Macron gave their speeches, if you look at the front row of the audience, Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks are sitting there. Pretty cool, right? But anyway, we move on. So on June 6th, 1944, the Allied invasion of Normandy. Between June 19th and 22nd, a significant storm damages the Mulberry A at Omaha Beach. June 26th, the capture of Cherbourg by US forces. July 21st, the capture of Caen by British and Canadian forces. August 25th, the initiation of the Red Ball Express. September 17th to 25, we'll get to that later. I need to share this with you. Mr. Two-Tone's after giving me this information. Fun fact about Richard Todd, right? Richard Todd, born in Dublin, who played Guy Gibson in the Dam Busters, fought on D-Day as part of the 7th Light Infantry Parachute Battalion. He fought at Pegasus, where he met Major John Howard, a British Army officer who led a glider-borne assault that captured the Caen Canal and Orne River bridges on the 6th of June. As part of the D-Day landings, Todd went on to play John Howard in The Longest Day. Right? Now, where is that other thing? Where is the other thing, Mrs.? Was it on my phone? She sent me something on my phone. I'll have to read this out to you. Again, like, this is tear-wrenching stuff. I'm going to read this out to you. Right. I'll read this out to you, right? D-Day. So what? Who cares? For us, D-Day needs to be known by all. To many people, young people mainly, squaff, smear, ignore, war, but why? Because the easy way is to say there should be no wars.
Hey, good money.
And of course, being a military veteran-owned company, we have seen war, breathed the air, seen the dead bodies and lost friends. The tragedy in humans, insects, mammals, all seemingly always go to war for land or greed or tribalism. The evil want to steal, kill, maim, and even rape the innocent. We need good people to stop them and act, not just stand there and say no. This is reality. Not social media behind a screen. D-Day was reality. The last stand. The great push for freedom. Every day we wake up, someone didn't. To allow our parents to live, to allow you to live, we owe them everything. The Normandy landings were the landing operations and associated airborne operations on Tuesday, the 6th of June, 1944, of the Allied invasions of Normandy in Operation Overlord. Codenamed Operation Neptune, was often referred to as D-Day. It was the largest seaborne invasion in history. Allied troops landed on the coast of Normandy on the 6th of June. It was the start of the campaign to liberate Europe and defeat the enemy that wanted to inhale Europe with dictatorship. And we've more. The original but broad Allied casualty figure for D-Day itself estimated at about 10,000 men, including 4,500 killed in action that day. So, every coffee you drink today, when you get in your car, when you say goodbye to your kids, remember the young lads and girls who died for us, the men and women who lay on the sand. They never came home, because they acted against evil and wanted us to have the freedom that we have now. Anytime you hear someone belittle what the war was about, you tell them the reasons. They lost their tomorrow for your today. Make it worth it. Isn't that something? Amazing stuff. Now, I don't know where she got that from. Oh, Jesus, I didn't. I have to turn right. Shh, shh. It's fine. Fine. Totally grand. We were just doing a bit of a wide loop there, lads. You know, it was important. Now, let's have a look. Where's me? Okay. So for some reason, my D-Day scenery is not showing, says Eagle Eye. Really? Can you please find the source of that? I will, Dougal. 100%. Yeah, Scary Wolf. Yeah. Great piece to read. Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? Tyler Z Gamer, thank you very much for the subscribe. Turn coming up. Sorry, Colonel Fork, I forgot it. Goblin Zeus says we got a new documentary on the French TV on the 6th of June, now colorized movies from D-Day called Apocalypse Les Débarquements. Maybe the Allied air power may have crushed this 15th German army. Maybe, but maybe not. Seemingly they were more battle-hardened, they were more experienced. Do you know? Dad, game time. I'm actually in the DC-3 rather than the C-47. Right, we're kind of heading back on course here. We're doing well, lads. We're doing well. Now, in my last little bit of the notes before I get on to some of your stories, because these are class, right? Where is this now? As we reflect on Operation Overlord and our D-Day commemorative flight, well, we look forward to commemorating an even larger airborne operation later this year. In September 2024, we will once again take to the skies in a large-scale operation that was even bigger than D-Day. Operation Market Garden. That's the next time we're going to be doing this, and that's slated for September, right? And if you enjoyed this, if you like the flying element and the bit of history and whatever else, well, we have an even bigger one on the way, and that's going to be for Market Garden. You watch the movie A Bridge Too Far, right? But that's what we're going to be doing. And from a airborne division perspective, it was bigger than D-Day, right? And it's a daytime drop, which should make it interesting. We'll learn all about it. If you've an interest in it, lads, we will be doing Operation Market Garden. And Jepson, can you make some bridges? I'm only asking out loud. Oh, brilliant. Poor little Jepson's like, at this moment, do you know, have you ever played Hell Let Loose? Only a little bit. Only a little bit. Hopefully they can iron out the C-47s bugs by then. Yeah. Bridge Too Far, great movie. Oh, the cast. Sean Connery's in that. Oh, brilliant cast. There's a second landing August 15th in Provence between Cannes and Toulon. Yes, there is actually. Operation Anvil. Yes. Very good, actually, Godwin Zeus. Operation Anvil. Let me do my homework on that. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of accurate. Oh, we got notifications. White Dog, or Wit Dog, and Matta D. Thank you very much for the requests over on Valanta, lads. Appreciate you. Operation Anvil. Right, we'll have to throw that into the gadget to see what happens, right? Also called Dragoon. Was it? How are we looking now, lads, on the return leg? Let's brighten up things here for a moment. Thank you for subscribing, Heli Flyer. You're very welcome in. Thank you very much indeed. How are we looking here? Look at this. Right, so at this stage, lads, lights on. And climbing back now to 1,500 feet. Position lights. And beacon. Don't need landing lights just yet, but we will get our beacon lights on. Just so we can show each other. And the reason why, of course, like, the Germans would have saw them retreating. The Luftwaffe, having gotten a hiding from the Battle of Britain, well, they weren't exactly down and out. There was some resistance. So us all heading back with no fighter escort, well, you'd want your lights off. Do you know what I mean? Now, I want to share with you, lads, a couple of stories from our community members. Just a couple of small bits of information. And we read out one earlier on from Car DTM, who mentioned that his great-grandmother, called Colette Papiens, from Belgium. She didn't directly help with D-Day. Instead, she tended to the wounded soldiers by leaving her house in Belgium and went to France without being seen by the Germans. She saved about 100 men from certain death. Not incredible. Nighthawk has a ton of information for me here about the Canadians, which I'm going to have a look at these now. Thank you, Nighthawk. So, here we have some stuff. So, Canadians at D-Day, some information and resources about the Canadian contribution at Juno Beach. Juno Beach, Canadian numbers. I'm going to share all of these with everyone on the stream anyway. I'll put it all in. I'll put it all on Discord for you. And we actually visited the Canadian cemetery in Normandy. A very beautiful, peaceful place. And the Royal Canadian Air Force, 39 squadrons, 9 aircraft type, 7 aircraft lost, 22 airmen killed. We actually went to a what was his name? Johnny Kennedy, I think. It was the first Hawker Typhoon base in Normandy. It was one of the first Allied airfields established in Normandy, and that was from the Canadians. Royal Canadian Navy, 61 major warships, 46 landing craft, 17 motor torpedo boats. At Juno, they lost 340 soldiers, 574 wounded, and 47 captured on or beyond the beach. Total loss to Canada was 381 killed, 584 wounded, and 131 captured. 1st Canadian Parachute Battalion, 543 paratroopers jumped, 19 killed, 10 wounded, 84 captured. We can see the layout here of what the Canadians were working on with Gold, Juno and Sword, and the times in which they were to arrive. And we have the kit of the Canadian paratrooper, how it all looked. The Mark II parachute helmet, complete with the Mark I Bren. I fired the Bren. That's a 303, by the way. And the haversack, bandoliers, holding ammunition, essentially. We used to call this 38 pattern. The Irish ended up with a lot of this CFO webbing, right? And all the information down there. So thank you very much indeed, Nighthawk, for sharing that information. And again, lads, I'll post all of this on Discord. Do you know what I mean? Now, moving on, Mark B. shared a story. He says, we have a small D-Day story. I'm not 100% sure of the details, and sadly, it's probably a little bit too late to ask. He says, my grandfather on my mother's side was a career soldier joining up just after the First World War. He served what is now the Royal Logistics Corps and retired in the 1950s at the rank of Regimental Sergeant Major. In the early part of the war, he did a lot of driving of trucks, taking building materials around the country, which was used in the construction of airfields. Family legend has it, he was one of the many news show reels shown in cinemas shortly after the 6th of June. My grandfather can be seen helping load men and equipment onto the ships. Ah man, that's deadly. TPB UK1, he says, both my maternal uncle and maternal grandfather were at the D-Day landings. Neither of them ever talked about D-Day. I suspect the trauma possibly, but my grandfather often spoke of his time in North Africa and Burma and of the comradeship that he experienced with his fellow soldiers. Ian H says, Murph, a bit of info regarding my dad. He served with the Royal Marines 45 Commando and trained as a coxswain on landing craft in Scotland. He sailed from Tilbury Dock on the evening of the 6th of June, heading for Juno Beach with the Royal Winnipeg Rifles. Most of the lads in 45 Commando didn't come back. His best mate is buried in Ranville Cemetery. My wife and I have been there many times to Normandy, and it's truly breathtaking. What those brave guys did, we should never forget. After disembarking the troops, his duty was to search for Nazi mini-subs off the coast, as well as recovering many bodies from the shore. In one incident, they came across an RAF pilot whose head was missing on the uniform. He had a very special emblem. The officer on board Dad's landing craft said, that will look good on any arm, to which my dad replied, you touch it and I'll shoot you. Needless to say, he didn't get it. Just a memoir for the stream. Thank you very much, Ian. Then Dougal has shared, Murph, not completely D-Day specific, but maybe worth a mention as the Royal Marine Commandos always get left out. On my first Afghan posting with the Royal Marines, we had a guy in our unit whose grandfather came ashore at Sword Beach. He thinks the Royal Marine Commando unit was attached to part of the 3rd Infantry Division. Prior to that, he also fought in Sicily in Operation Husky. He survived not only both landings and subsequent pushes with only minor injuries, but also the entire duration of the war. This guy's father also went on to join the Marine Corps and saw active service numerous times. The 3 generation of Royal Marine Commandos all seeing combat on multiple theatres, and all 3 survived to talk about it. That's incredible. And then there's a link there to a story. It's actually it's an MSN site. And again, I'll link all of this into the chat. It's absolutely incredible, like. Absolutely incredible. Now, fix your head and Murphy, a big Egypt. Yes. Looking good. We will be picking back up the coast here very, very shortly indeed, as we're coming back up towards England. Check your fuel now, lads. Auxiliary fuel is looking good. We're about half tanks now on the auxiliary side, and all is looking good. Here is the English coast, the safe haven of home, and we're going to be heading back now to Exeter, and we'll be there in a couple of moments. I love the fact that we have people, and you know, they know people in their memory or their family that were involved during these times. But I also love the fact that people in our own community, we share these stories. We get to learn so much about each other, and it's not necessarily just on the Second World War. I love this when we go exploring a new region, for example. Someone might have visited there, someone could live there, and they're able to share their stories with us on a live stream. That's, to me, that's absolutely incredible. It's infectious, it's contagious. I love it, do you know? So I want to thank you all very, very much for sharing all of these stories with me. Eamon says, my uncle was involved in D-Day for the SOE behind enemy lines, but he wouldn't talk about it. Now that he's sadly passed, I'll never find out what he was involved in. So sad that you couldn't talk about it. It must have been gruesome. I had a hero in my family and know nothing about it. Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Jepson is here. Mr. Two-Tone is here as well. Get the Jesus. I only did a little. She did loads. She did loads. I did read your message, Mr. Two-Tone, yes. I did. Thank you very much indeed. Like, I'm very passionate about this stuff. I mean, this is what I love from a historical context, yeah? But it's getting to share... Look at everyone here. It's getting to share this with you guys. We all learn a bit of something together. We've all experienced this incredible flight, really brought to life by the scenery from Jeppesen, all the liveries from the artist, the weather that was thrown in, that Gibbo was able to code for me, and your stories, able to combine the whole thing into one very enjoyable flight. It's incredible. I did, Mr. Two-Tone. I read about Richard Todd. I did. Airman says, my 98-year-old uncle, who joined the Army Paratroopers in 1944, was in the Battle of the Bulge. He was wounded, later became a chopper pilot and instructor during the Vietnam War. And he flew for PHI till he retired. No way! Kozaki says, my great uncle got tossed into the waters off Okinawa by a divine wind plane. Jesus, it sank his destroyer. I fondly remember the story Scott told me on the Murph line one night, old veteran, when he was over in Normandy and he visited Cavill, and he met the site manager, the dude in charge of the cemetery, right? Because that's technically American soil. And he told me the story how he met him and met his wife. They invited him in for, refreshments and a bit of dinner, and they gave Scott the opportunity to fold the flag. He was there for when they were taking in the American flag at the end of the day. What an incredible honor to have that. Murph, whose father was in 45th Commando? I started in 40 Commando. What? Really? I can't verify it since I heard it from my grandmother, but apparently my grand uncle was on HMS Rodney during the Second World War, which participated in the bombardment of Normandy. Wow. Here's the picture Scott has. Look, what? This is just... I love this. Like, we've been there. Myself and Mr. Two-Tone have been there. We've had all the stories, right? So, all the information, lads, if you want to ramble over to our Discord, ! Discord, it gives you a link. This is our community Discord. This is where we all hang out. A lot of the time they just like me. But you can see some of the pictures here. Scott has a ton of them. I have a ton of these photos as well. It's gas. We've been to the same places. The gun batteries and all of this. National D-Day Memorial in Bedford, Virginia. Look at this. Guys, thank you so much. Look at this one now. The D-Day drone lights up Portsmouth. Look at this, lads. That's a drone, look. Well, many drones. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that class? My closest contact in World War II was a family friend who signed on with the Navy at 17. He lied about his age. He became a Navy frogman out in the Pacific. Whoa. I think we just passed the beach where a rehearsal for D-Day went very wrong. Oh, really? Wait, wasn't there... Yeah, there was blue on blue fire, I think, at one of these places. Now, where's this other picture, Scott? Aha! Look at this, lads. Here is... That's an Avograph, Murph. I'll go far in places, lads, I can tell you. Here's the picture from Scott. Here he is. Well, he's not... There he is there. Folding the flag. Like, what an honour to do. Yeah, over 700 deaths on that training. It was blue on blue. I heard about that. Turner says, my dad was on HMS Rodney. He was on training as the war broke out. He came back 5 years later. Wow. Yeah, the drones, wasn't that amazing? Look at that. Isn't that incredible? That's just like, what an honour. What an honour. We've been there. Like, so many times we've been there, Right, how are we looking here now with our outflight path? We're okay for the moment. We will be turning left up here, lads, as we head back then towards Exeter. It was not blue and blue. They got torpedoed. Oh, they did. Sorry, yes, and that's an E-boat. It was an E-boat. Yes. They took out 700. Yeah, that was kept in secrecy for a long time as well, wasn't it? That was kept in secrecy. Yeah. Sorry, Dougal. Yeah. Hemmingbird's putting on the kettle again. Make us some ale ham and cheese sandwiches, will you? Sunjammer says, let me take you back to April 1945. The gun deck on the USS Yorktown. The alert had just been called just after dawn as the ship is at rest off Okinawa. The word had been that the British fleet to the west had been attacked by dive bombers and the task force was next. Well, soon enough, dots on the radar appeared and hundreds of Japanese aircraft came in. Most were took down by the fighter screen that were patrolling the task force area, but a few got past. The Yorktown was the target. Jesus. I remember some of my family members were in the French resistance during the Second World War, says Goblin Zeus. Sterling says, for those who don't know, Navy frogmen, or divers, would swim onto an invasion beach prior to an invasion and clear obstacles. That's incredible. B. Carlo, you take care of my dude. That's incredible. The French resistance? Yeah, Jesus. It was a great game, actually, on the PlayStation, and you played the part of an Irish fella in the French resistance. Can you remember that game? That was a good game, actually. Wheelman also big guns. Do you know the game I'm talking about? It's an old game now, but like, you were part of the French resistance and it was an Irish fella. I need to ditch. I broke off during the return to EGTE. The original Coda. No worries, man. The Saboteur. Yes. Great game. Great game. Old Veteran says, on D-Day, CBs were the first ashore as Naval Combat Demolition Units, NCDU. The task was to remove German defensive beach obstructions built to impede amphibious landings. They came under heavy fire, but were able to detonate their charges, opening gaps, allowing the assaults to land. Wow. Sunjammer continues, the guns on the Yorktown opened up. Day after day this happened. Some men do have their breaking point. A gunner being at this point all day, shouted to his gun crew mates, it's not today, and jumped overboard. Jesus. Scary Wolf says, very nice. My granduncle's name, or I need your granduncle's name just to see if there's any crew records. Wow. Alright, friends, a left turn coming up. 259 degrees. Speed is good. Go ahead and get some landing lights on. I'll get our wing lights on here as well. There, we're lighting up. What an incredible flight, lads. This has been something special. And it was great that Dave was also flying with Mission Boston. That was absolutely incredible. A massive shout out to 757. I think he's behind us. I'm almost certain Dave is right behind us. What an incredible flight, though. And like, between both communities, we've got the bones of 500 people watching this. Incredible. Jamie probably sits back into the seat. He does that every day. But it just shows, like, there's another element, if you like, to your flight simulation hobby, right? I mean, you have your airliners, you have your general aviation, you have your normal bus trips or bush trips and civilian aviation. But here we are recreating a D-Day operation. Granted, there's no combat. There doesn't need to be. We don't need combat here to show the importance of what happened. And we got a great experience with Jeppesen scenery. I mean, we really did. We really did. It's been incredible. And it couldn't have happened without you guys. Absolutely incredible, lads. So thank you all so very, very much indeed. And yeah, I can see Dave behind us.
Two-ton Murphy's Grove. They passed Elko. They're now heading off to their airport, which was Exeter, right? I think they're going back to Exeter.
So Dave,
so that's theirs. We're continuing on to
Dave's group, lads.
Going back to our
this is mad. So he's going that direction. Now we can't see him there in the fog. He's heading north. We're heading west.
Really enjoyed doing this with you.
This is awesome. Dave is such a nice guy, isn't he? That was awesome. Yeah, there was combat, the flak fire. Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? It wasn't going to hit us or anything, you know? That was so much fun. Massive thanks to 757. Dave put a lot of work and research into it. He showed me a ton of stuff of what we were doing. And this was so much fun. This was so much fun. Isn't it great to see? I think we're the only group, flight simmers. We're the only group of gamer, or whatever way you want to call us, that actively work with other communities. We want to get involved with other communities. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's also down to you, Murph. Not at all. Not typical. Very poor visibility near here. Yeah, 100%. Unhorsed Goose says, it hit me. I don't know. Unhorsed Goose, you poor devil. You got hit by a phantom something. So, like, there's no... Look at the lights. There's no collision physics or any of that jazz. You get it definitely in a combat sim. I mean, DCS, right? Even in X-Plane, you can do a bit of messing and getting some stuff up. But I'm just so happy we're able to do this flight together. And that experience. And it's yours forever, right? I mean, Jepson made this, and it's yours forever. So it's awesome. So we're heading now back down the coast for Exeter. We're going to be landing where we took off, which is going to be that of runway 08. So we're going to be flying south of the field, then turning right to land in. Captain Stickback says, thanks Murph, Mr. Two-Tone and Jepson and everyone else who contributed to this evening. Awesome stuff. Thank you very, very much. As I said, lads, it's all the taking part. And it's amazing when communities come together. People helping people, folks getting involved, and we do something just incredible. It's class. Like, where would you get it? Do you know what I mean? You just wouldn't get this kind of stuff anywhere. It's incredible. I love it. Think this would look good, think what this would look like in VATSIM. Yes. Well, Scott, funny you mentioned that. So there's actually a Simbury flight planned for this. Anyone who would like to fly this on VATSIM, you'll probably want to be VFR, but the route is there on VATSIM. You can load it into your Simbrief, file it as your flight plan, and then start up on VATSIM and do the flight. What a way to go, right? Because the truth about it is, I mean, these aircraft, they only flew the other day, heading out pretty much the same route. Commander Freezer says, Murph, did the D-Day community flight with the Microsoft stream yesterday? It was epic. Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw CD do that. Yeah, that looked pretty cool. Airman says, what a day and really educational. Thanks for everyone.
Hello there.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Andre Basto, thank you very much indeed for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome in. Would have been even more epic with some searchlights and flat guns. Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot more information on the flight routes for D-Day this year. Good night from Portugal. Good night from Ireland. Good to see you, man. Yeah, we got a ton of information. It was awesome. I've been escorted back to Exeter by a 109. Uh-oh. What is our next history tour? Oof. We're working on something at the moment. So we're hot on the heel. Well, we're still doing the volcano series. Then something's popping up. Then something else is popping up. Then we'll do our Operation Market Garden. And then we have a new history series starting. So I'd say September, maybe October, give or take. But yeah, it's class. Absolutely class. Right, small little adjustment. 261. We're nearly there, lads. It's been an absolutely incredible flight. And you guys have kept me great company for the entire flight. And thank you all very, very much indeed. It's been brilliant. Shirley Dev says, yeah, it was a really good flight last night. Did a similar route today with Forder. I was watching Forder earlier on. Got to show him how to use the gyro pilot. Yeah. I was watching Forder earlier on, himself and Andrew. They had a different flight. They kind of flew down across the beaches and then back up again. Looked really nice. Forder also put it in the ditch as well. I wasn't going to say anything, but like, he did something that I would do. He stalled it. It's alright, no one saw it though. It was grand, you know. Hummingbird, nothing wrong with an LTs. Yes. Wait, what? More Woman things. Not for a while, no. The next is more international. I was flying towards it when he did it. Shirley Dev. Brilliant. Brilliant. It must have taken real precision navigation and flying in real life. Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Murph, did you ever finish the trip or journey you did over Iceland to Greenland, landing at the valley? That was the Bremen flight, I think. Yeah, I don't want to run. I don't want to run Gibbo off for good. Like, yeah, we need to be careful. We're doing something about Liverpool next. Now, look at this. Right, another little course adjustment. I know why that's off. 0, my little heading indicator. 262 should be good. Little turn in here to the right hand side. The flight of shame of all places, Liverpool has been beaten, right? There's another group flight tomorrow. Where's that on, Retriever Neil? Mika just landed back in Exeter. What an experience. Managed to do all the flights without an autopilot. The aircraft is quite stable. Thanks for this event. You are more than welcome. Thank you for making it what it is. For everyone flying, even those not flying, keeping us company here in the chat. You guys are what make these things. Otherwise, it's just this Big E just sitting in his room on his own, driving Mrs. Two-Tone absolutely nuts. Because I'm giving it all. Do you know? Colonel Fork has landed. He's now wheels down at Uppottery. Well done, Colonel Fork. Awesome flight. Awesome flight. Virtual flight online Discord. Ooh, nice. Hey, Briggsy, good to see you. Just booked a tour at Gold Beach, Normandy, D-Day in July. Oh, dude, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm very emotional. Yeah, absolutely. Unhorse Goose says, I'm also full manual. Tons of fun. Really stable once you trim it out right. Yeah, the aircraft trims out really well. Really, really well. We're nearly there. We're going to be doing our final turn coming in here now in a moment. So let me see. We'll play a bit of music here now as we kind of ramble in. Do you know what I mean? Now, I know that our lights are on, but we'll get a bit of a look-see. Do us a favour, lads. Kill the out landing lights just for a moment. If you can, right? If you can. That's deadly the way you do that. If you just kill the landing lights and I'll brighten things up here. We'll just have a bit of footage because there's the English coast right beside us, right? So if you can turn off the out, if you can, turn off the out landing lights and we'll ramble in here. We'll press a button. What does this one do? This should work. This works. For our final count of the night, Xbox pilots press 1, if you're on the PC press 2, and everyone else still here, number 3. Yeah, would you look at the state of that though? That's amazing, isn't
Hello
it?
there.
Jesus. Hello there. Who's that? Deep Star, thank you very much indeed for the follow. Welcome in, man. Toto is back on the ground. Thanks to everyone involved from tonight's flight. Ah, brilliant. Well done, man. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Right. Ooh, where's everyone gone? Oh, Jesus. We're over here now, look. Yes, yes, yes. Right, lads, good job. Lights on. Oh, Jesus. Panel lights, bring them up. Bring them up. Beacon. Landing lights. The whole shebang now, please. And what else do we need? Cockpit lights, leave them alone. That's better. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. This is awesome. So we're going to be turning back into Exeter in a matter of moments. Visibility is starting to pick up a little bit. Oh, Mark just face planted. What did Jay Winnaker say? 506 Parachute Infantry Regiment, Colonel Fork and I reenact them. Very, very true. You want to see some of the lads' pictures that they take. Incredible stuff. They've all the gear, weapons included. Amazing. We're down to 49 in the PC and 3 in the console. Thank you very much indeed, Super Ty. Special nice flight. And yeah, Balut. Thank you. Thank you for flying it. We had a half track with us last weekend, says Jay Winnaker. No way. They're loud, aren't they? And incredibly bouncy. Okay, we're going to be turning right up the estuary here into Exeter. So we shall say thank you very much indeed to our autopilot. It was absolutely stellar. Let's have a look. Autopilot off. And now we're flying manually, friends. Altitude of 1,500 feet. A speed of 200 miles an hour indicated. And now we're going to ramble in. And we were next to an LST from World War II. No way. Super Ty clipped the flyby. Oh, nice. One of the guys bought a Jeep in the off season. Oh, no way. That's deadly. So we're going to aim for the place with no lights. That's what the estuary is. Love to see pictures of reenactments. Yeah, they look brilliant. And you meant to have your wheel lock during landing. Yes, wheel locked for landing. The French take the reenactor to a whole new level. They've so much stuff from the old days. Yeah, there's some amazing stuff out there. We were there one year and they were doing a parade in Armagh. It was incredible. Mark B, you take care, my dude. Thank you so much for flying with us. Okay, right turn coming in. I'm going to follow up the estuary. Start bringing the speed back a little bit. And we ramble up the estuary towards Exeter. Hemmingbird has the kettle on with ham and cheese sandwiches and even some corned beef. All right. Nighttime flying in the sim, it's always gorgeous, isn't it? It's always gorgeous. Got some toasties on the go. Brilliant. Some spam. Was it spam or span? I got some chicken Alfredo in the oven. Ooh, starting to smell good. Engineer says, I'm on the PC as well. Couldn't type while flying. That makes 50. Ah, awesome, dude. Awesome. Ben's boy, thank you very much indeed, man. And to everyone. And again, a massive shout out over to Dave and the spy flight with 757 Spy. This has been a lot of fun. And you know, knowing there's another community doing something similar, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. And we flew 2 different routes. Dave looked after Mission Boston for the 82nd, and we covered Mission Albany, which was the 101st. I'd love to see if anyone got some pictures of the map in the main menu just to see. I clipped Dave waving to you. Ah, brilliant. I think we had a total of about 80 C-47s, lads. Isn't that amazing? And we could have had more. But I think there was about 80. Okay, let that speed come down a bit. Keep the cowl flaps closed for the moment. And it's going to be a right turn coming up here towards the airport. Tactical tanker hasn't landed one yet. This should be fun. It should be grand. Alright, watch the power coming out. Look at this. There's our airport. We've got a lot of folks already landed. We've got a lot more coming in, lads. Imagine how busy the aerodromes would have been. Incredible. Tier 0 says, Murph, I've said it before, but I do love how you bring an interesting historical twist to these flights. Makes a great viewing and might even get me to join you all one time. Ah, Tier 0, thank you very much indeed. Listen, it's not for everyone, but for those who are interested in it, hopefully you got something out of it. I love this stuff, man. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the name tags just so I can see the runway. Speed is about 110. Drop her down a little bit more. Gear coming down. There's the noise of the wind. And we're going to ramble in. Not much rest for the tower controllers this night. Yeah. Transport landed, the fighters and bombers were taken off. That's mad, isn't it? Okay, prop full, gear down and locked, flaps are set. We're rambling in. Watch your speed. Little bit of wind to contend with. Easy. Speed's good. Ham and cheese sandwiches lightly toasted in a pan. Crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Like armadillos. Ham and birds are mad. Alright. 90 miles an hour, looking good. Get onto that centre line if you can. Easy, does it? Looking good. We're stable. There's our touchdown zone. Power to idle. Hold the nose. Easy. Easy. There's a bounce. We'll take it. Easy, does it now. Let that tail drop. Wow, look at everyone lining up. Ah, look at the state of this. That's incredible looking. Tail is down. Unlock it. Alright. Flaps in. Tail flaps open. And welcome back to Exeter. Nice. Usually I redeem this when he's landing. Thanks. Oh wow, look at everyone lined up here. This is going to look beautiful, lads. Jesus. The carousel's turned around. Easy, easy, easy. Look at that for a sight, lads. Jesus. Look at that for a sight. That's absolutely beautiful. Hang on, we'll have to play a bit of music here for this. This is just, do you know what I mean? This is absolutely stunning. Can we get name tags on? I might go name tags off because like it looks class, right? Double-sided salute today. Isn't it amazing? We still got some aircraft coming in. Ah, lads, this is class. Absolutely amazing flying by you guys tonight. It's been nothing short of spectacular. And a great mix of aircraft from DC-3s, C-47s. We got fighters. Oh man, it was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This is gorgeous. Right, we'll do, is it this one? No. No, hang on a second. Where have we got this now? Ah, yeah, that'll do. Are we ready? Such a pleasure to watch. Amazing scenery and effort. Yeah, it was awesome, wasn't it? It was awesome. Bought the plane to make a contribution to the veterans charity at the USO. Flew it once, bought it, won't touch it again, says Dan. Yeah. Took a couple of scenies or screenies on Volanta. Oh, nice, nice. The slick one. This will be live on YouTube forevermore. But thank you very much. We're streaming also live to YouTube, so the video is there. Look at this. We got a few more guys coming in. This is awesome. The lighting looks great, doesn't it? So you know the crack, lads. Lights on, flash them if you have them, and we'll make our way down the runway here now. We'll just let everyone else. In fact, I'll move backwards so we make sure we pick up absolutely everyone. I'll move over here. There we go. And if I do something like this, hit the L brakes. And I'll do a little something like this. Right? Join FS could be having a bit of a fit. So if you have like, if you see anything weird, lads, right? We'll do something like this so we can see everyone. Let's see how this works for a while. And yeah, let's see how this works for a while.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Welcome in, 757. Oh, what a great day for flying. Amazing getting to fly with you, Dave, and your community. What an event. And there we have it, friends. What a way to spend an evening. What a flight. What an absolutely incredible flight. That was awesome. With a mad plane giving it socks in the background. Right? So much fun. The scenery is now yours. Massive thanks to Jefferson 2001. Big shout out to Gibbo for coding the L weather preset. To all the livery creators, you've done outstanding work here. And for everyone flying along, thank you also very, very much indeed. For everyone here in the chat looking after us, keeping us company, the support tonight has been insane. For all the gifted subs, all the likes, the follows, and the subs over on YouTube, thank you also very, very much indeed. We return to you on Monday night. We continue on with our Volcano series. And well, next week, we'll have a busy week of flying once again. And we have flights Monday, Tuesday, the news on Wednesday, FATSIM on Thursday, and another group flight happening on Friday. So, if you guys have any photos or screenshots or videos, not only of our flight tonight, but maybe anything about Operation Overlord or D-Day or even the Second World War, I invite you to share with us over on our Discord channel, !Discord. We'll give you the link and we'll see you there. So, that's all from me. Thank you all so very much indeed. What a commemorative flight. This was something special, and I think we've managed to do what we intended. A tip of our cap to all those who sacrificed so much for us. Absolutely incredible. So, to that end, I shall bid you adieu. Stand by for the raid. We'll go say hi to a friend, and see you soon. Do you remember Puff the Magic Dragon?